Following podcast contains spoilers, strong language, graphic violence, nudity, a bad depiction of a fusion reactor, and terrible advice on how to stop a runaway train. I'm already fucking mad. Viewer discretion is advised.
That guy stole his pizzas.
Fuck!
Four guys and a movie. Four guys and a movie. Tony, Brian, Rob, and Joe reviewing movies for the show. Four guys and a movie.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Four Guys and a Movie podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, this is a podcast where a couple of nerds get together and talk about movies. It's fun. Hey, today we're doing Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi joint from 2004?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that was a great year.
Yeah,
Middle school.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Will is 5 years old, Joe. Don't
Yeah, I think
forget.
I was 8th grade.
I always forget that fact.
Me and my teddy bear was practicing that upside down kiss.
Yeah, I was graduating
I
college.
don't want to think about that.
Yay!
You were still also practicing kissing your teddy bear.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was a transformer hanging from a
Yeah.
string, but yeah.
Oh, I feel like I'm back on Moonbase too.
And I'm Tony.
I'm your host this week, Rob. Joined by Tony and others. Say hi, others.
Hello.
Tombstone Tony.
Joe Jomason.
Joe Jones.
Didn't try very hard.
Jomason.
Joma Jomason.
All right. Jojo Rabbit. Okay.
Speaking of nobody tried very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Will?
Yeah.
You ever seen Spider-Man 2 before?
Oh, yeah. Pretty sure I saw it in the theaters. I was a big Spider-Man fan.
On a little papoose on your mama's back? Is that,
Yeah, it was the first movie I ever went to in theaters.
Were you wearing pants?
you were conceived during Spider-Man 2?
No, during 1. Then had to come see number 2.
Which he proceeded to cry and run down the aisle the entire time.
That's okay. That's what Tobey Maguire did. Anyway, Joe,
Yep.
you seen Spider-Man 2 before?
I've seen this once. I remember being in a van with a certain two people who are in this virtual chat room with us
Mm-hmm.
Y'all went to the theaters?
together.
Wow.
Mystery Machine, yeah.
Yeah, that was back in the days of the Tony van. And I want to say Brian was there too, but
Tony had a van?
I don't remember for sure. Yeah, Tony used to cart us around in a sketchy minivan.
That's the least surprising thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, Tony was the wheelman of the group for a long time.
He was baby driver?
Yeah.
He was baby driver.
I assume, yeah, Matt and John were there.
Yeah, I just remember driving home being very mad and like,
also being the only one that was very mad.
Yeah, no, and it was like Mugatu, where I'm like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here.
And he threw a latte in Tony's face?
Yeah,
Yep.
and apologized for the needle getting in the way of his ass and told him to lose 15 pounds.
I did not do that last part.
But yeah, I remember it was a very bad trip home. It took a while to recover.
Right. Tony, you were there too.
Yeah, I guess I had forgotten how much Joe hated this. I knew he didn't like it because we have at least one or two major points that we'll get into when we start getting into it. But yeah, I definitely saw this in the theater. Obviously, I'm sure I've seen it since then, at least in riff tracks, if nothing else. But yeah.
Yeah, samesies. I've seen this, I guess, a handful of times. I don't know, not like a crazy amount, but yeah, enough to upset a few people in the room. Tony, you got any other history on this film?
Okay, so, well, we kind of mentioned, sort of, I think, is how this is working out. The guy that yelled, he stole that dude's pizzas. Originally, that was going to be the Stan Lee cameo.
Okay.
There's also a brief mention on one of the newspapers about there being a linkage to back pain and brain shrinkage, which is supposedly because Tobey Maguire injured his back and was almost unable to do this movie. Famously, it almost went to Jake Gyllenhaal, but Tobey Maguire, I guess, pushed through it and got himself ready to do the movie anyway. Alfred Molina supposedly was a big fan of Spider-Man, was happy to do this. He also he had to lose weight for the role, but he did say himself that he wanted to be basically in like 1840s fighter guy shape.
Yeah, you said he lost weight for this role?
He did, believe it or not.
All right.
He wanted to look like an old Irish brawler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which works, and that is kind of what Doc Ock should be.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Dr.
like-
Octopus is
oh, yeah.
never like...
He's like a plump little.
Yeah.
Well, if you
Man.
think about it, you got 4 giant mechanical arms. Like, what are you going to do for exercise? You're going to do everything with those arms.
You got one that
Well,
jerks
yeah,
off
actually-
for you, that wipes your butt
Yeah.
for you.
Well, yeah, actually, more modern takes on Doc Ock. A couple of them, I believe, have him where pretty much his arms and legs have atrophied because the
Yeah.
mechanical ones do everything. But apparently, he was also talked into doing a bunch of his own stunts. Rosemary Harris did all of her own stunts as well, which she's very proud of for the 5 that she did before it was replaced by a CGI monster.
Wait, what?
Rosemary Harris, Aunt May.
Uh-huh. CGI monster?
Well,
Well, everyone
get
is a
into the
CGI
CGI,
monster
yeah.
at some point in this movie.
I mean, okay, I get you.
yes.
I didn't think the CGI was that bad in this film. I mean,
Now,
No.
Tony, going off what you said just now about Molina, have you heard the recent news about him?
No, what?
So an article came out last week where he's pretty much just spilling all the beans about this new Spider-Man movie that
Every single person
yeah.
who's
Yep.
ever been
So
in
he's-
Spider-Man movies in.
Apparently, it's supposed to take place right after he drowns in the river. Like somehow
Tell me this shit?
you don't want to know.
No. I don't want spoilers for the new movie. And honestly, at this point, fuck those guys. 'Cause this has got to be a plan now. Because
Yeah,
Tom Holland letting stuff leak, I believe it. But like, not every fucking time somebody lets major stuff leak, like every couple weeks, this is a ploy.
well, this isn't a spoiler, but he was kind of like, I'm like 67 now and like kind of fat and less mobile than I was then. And then he was like, oh yeah, the tentacles do everything, and they're like going to de-age him or something.
Oh boy. Yeah, but that's like, I think it was Back to the Future, and I forgot what else where the movie's supposed to take place right after, but they filmed it like 10 years later. It's like, nah, it doesn't work, guys. At one time, the movie was going to be called Spider-Man No More, Spider-Man Lives, Spider-Man Unmasked, and even talking about calling it The Amazing Spider-Man, which, that's the whole thing. But the biggest news being Chris Cooper, Robert De Niro, David Duchovny, Ed Harris, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Sam Neill at one point or another were all considered to play Doc Ock.
Wow, Schwarzenegger?
Schwarzenegger.
That would have been different.
that would be
That
great.
would have been a tragedy.
I'm not going to die a monster.
Yeah.
Too late, friend.
It'll stabilize.
Yeah. Let's make sure we can give him 2 roles where he can play a scientist that can't say what his profession is. Great.
I'm pregnant with a spider baby. Was Danny DeVito considered for the role of Spider-Man?
Yes.
For Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben's corpse.
Specifically.
No, at one point he was going to play Mary Jane, but
Scheduling conflicts.
Oh, well, he was Mary Jane's stand-in for all the scenes, to test the lighting and whatnot.
I'm not wearing a bra.
Okay.
All right. So,
you guys want to guess at how much money this movie had to make? Also, whoever is holding their mic while they're falling downstairs right now, are you okay? I'm assuming that must be Will. Yeah.
Just getting situated.
I'm gonna guess 110 million lira dollars.
I'm gonna say 90.
Whoa, I was thinking like 200.
Good thinking, Will. It was 200.
Oh,
Wow.
Hey.
Sweet.
Want to guess how much this made?
oh.
A shit ton.
Yeah.
I'm
500.
gonna say
Oh, dang.
Oh.
All right. 600 then?
700.
I'll have to give it to Will. It was $788 million.
Okay.
700 million and $88.
Which I gotta tell you guys, changing this stuff over from last week when we did Terminator. Oh, the difference. Oh, the zeros I had to add.
It's like $20 in a cod piece.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think Terminator was made for 600 or something, I believe it was. And
We still got a Paxton.
yeah.
Still got a Paxton in this film. All right. So, let's
You all want to know who's in this movie?
Sure.
You got this kid Tobey Maguire,
Not a
who
kid.
plays Spider-Man. You got
According to
this,
the movie,
Yep. You got this little kid vampire Kirsten Dunst plays Mary Jane Watson. You
Cracked
got
out for the whole film.
You got Oscar-nominated actor Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. You
not
got
from Lady Hawk, really?
You got Seth Rogen's best friend James Franco as Harry Osborn, and I'll give special props to J.K. Simmons because he kills it as Jameson.
I'd say J.K. and Alfred Molina are the best actors in this film.
Oh, for sure.
Alright.
Yeah, well
By
that's easily the
And
case.
a little Willem Dafoe at the end.
Well, I
Also.
say, when
Yeah,
when
other than
fucking when James Franco tries, James Franco's good.
When he tries, yes.
Yeah,
but,
he does not care to do that very often.
That's
I feel
like
like-
three
yeah,
lines in this whole film, and the rest he's like.
I feel like in this
oh,
he's
I
just
don't think
being
he tried it
himself.
all in this film.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
I'm
just
talking
being
about in
himself.
other movies.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in this film is unable to act.
Mm.
How well they did so,
Yeah.
it's a different story. But
I'd say anytime James Franco is acting like upbeat and jolly in this movie,
You buy it?
I bought it. Anytime he was trying any other emotion, I was like,
It was kind of cool when he was like, "See you in Sweden."
yeah, like that was fine. He was doing fine.
well, yeah, I also spent half the movie going, "Dude, close your mouth, close your fucking mouth."
Yeah, but I mean, I was saying that to most everybody in this film.
But if I could also throw in, apparently, Willem Dafoe wasn't going to be in the movie, but they were shooting "quote unquote" near his apartment or something. Like he was just walking by and saw the cast and started talking to him. So they were like, "You know what? Hey, we could probably get you in this movie."
Okay, you're
Okay.
William Dafoe.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I love it in my head now because I'm just thinking, like, it's William Dafoe going like, "Oh, that's where they're shooting. I'm just gonna go there and bump into them to see what happens."
Get a little paycheck.
Yeah, I bet they'll let me into the craft services tent.
You know, I consider myself a bit of an actor.
So after the 40 minutes of opening credits,
The credits do go on for a while.
what happens?
I will also say though, I like that we get that's like official Alex Ross drawings,
Mhm.
which
Yeah,
recaps the whole first movie.
Yeah, they're a little long, but I do like they give you a good recap. They show you the characters. Like, I feel like it sets you up pretty well.
Yeah,
But it
no,
does
I- Uncle
go
Ben
on
die
like
again.
probably 30 seconds too long, 30 seconds
Yeah.
to a minute too long.
Like long enough that you're like, all right, this is just the Batman theme song. Can we move
Yeah.
this along? I'm starting. The threads are starting to thin out a little here.
All right. So yeah, we got Spider-Man doing Spider-Man things.
Sort of.
He's sad because Mary Jane can't know that he's
He's-
Spider-Man.
He's just sad about everything.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's just the saddest
Well,
sack of shit
my
you've
first
ever
my
seen.
first note I wrote down is of course we have to get the trope that Peter Parker's like a sad, nerdy teenager, or I guess however old he's supposed to be in this, but it's just like went on for too long, I guess, or like
Well,
that
the
was
whole
the whole
movie-
first act of the first movie.
No, the whole movie from start to finish is how like life just shits on Parker's head at
Yeah.
every
Right.
possible moment.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Parker's always been like, he's always had kind of tough luck, but this is this is just ridiculous. Like, this is just mopey deluxe, and you just get tired of it.
Well, yeah, it's
So-
comically goofy levels of
Yeah,
life
definitely.
shitting on them.
So we get Peter Parker here. He almost crashes his moped into this Mr. Aziz, and he's got to deliver 8 pizzas. And if he doesn't get them, he's got 8 minutes to deliver like 7 pizzas. And if he doesn't get them there, he's fired.
Got to go 44 blocks, which in real life,
Yeah.
that pizza place wouldn't even deliver that far away.
No,
Yes.
absolutely not.
Mm.
First of all,
Yeah.
29 minutes for a pizza place in New York City seems unrealistic to me. Like,
Also,
Yeah,
you
unless
could
it's
be
just a
driving a
slice.
monster truck over all of those other cars, and you're not
Right.
getting there in 8 minutes.
well, I mean, yeah, because he was Spider-Manning around,
Yep.
and it's like still not 8 minutes, and he somehow wound up in a closet. I'm not sure how that even
God, I
happened.
hated that
Yeah.
scene.
Do
Also-
closets normally have
well-
like windows?
Also, he probably should have just been like, dude, you're about to be in Avatar. I wouldn't talk,
Mm.
all right, about people getting fired.
I believe the guy's name is Darnell Rollins, but props to the dude from Chappelle's show.
Oh
who,
yeah.
he just happened to be walking by as Peter ran in an alleyway, and then Spider-Man comes swinging out with the pizzas. He's like, "Hey, he stole that dude's pizzas." All right, what about this random fucking pizza mooch on the roof? Does he get a fat chat foul? Because as far as I
No,
know,
No,
it looks
'cause
like
who-
the pizza fairy left him 8 pizzas.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
how would you
pizzas
how
from
would you have
heaven.
known?
There's a
Yeah.
fat chat foul in this movie that made me furious. And
There's
we'll
a
talk
few-
about it
there's a
later.
few-
Is it the Lauren Lapkus chocolate cake?
Yeah.
Listen, listen.
let's not get
We'll
ahead of
talk about
ourselves.
Yeah,
First
there's
of all,
a few
it's
fat chat
that
related
form.
things.
If you're gonna give Cousin Larry there a foul, it's because he didn't immediately grab those pizzas and take them inside.
Yeah, well that's it. I mean, I feel like he looked around for a little bit. He did like a finders keepers kind of protocol, and then he's like, "I'm just gonna have a piece of pizza now. They're on my roof or the roof I happen to be on, and they're just there. I'm taking them before the pigeons do."
Yep.
And then fucking
Yeah.
Spider-Man steals the pizza out of his hand. Which at that point, that pizza, I hope he's not giving that back to the people he's delivering the pizza to.
Oh, he
Like-
is.
And also, there's no
Yeah.
way that that's deep dish. Come on.
No, so that's a fat chat foul right there. Because I
Yeah,
mean, at
first
that
of all-
point, let him keep the damn slice.
Right, it's got fingerprint, saliva, and spider jizz on it at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't want
Yeah,
that.
especially because let's not forget, in this version of Spider-Man, that shit comes out of his wrist.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
So gross.
Don't think
That
I
is
wasn't
pretty
thinking
gross.
about that every 5
Mhm.
seconds.
Yeah.
Gross ass.
Because famously, spiders' webs come out of their
Wrists.
their little arms.
Could you just
not their
imagine though,
butts.
like him swinging around, just like firing that out of his asshole?
I would like it so much more.
Like there's this whole training montage of him doing
Mm.
butt kegels because he's got to learn how to cut off the web line at some point.
I'm sure that's a comic somewhere.
He's got like a mirror in his hand so he can like fire backwards. I know that's not as cool, but I would love to see that so much more. So actually, let me get this one out of the way now. Do you guys prefer webs come from inside him, Spider-Man, or web shooter Spider-Man?
Web shooters.
Web
Yeah.
shooters.
It validates him.
For me, it's I can't take him seriously as a hero with the web shooters.
Really?
No?
Can you take Batman seriously with a batarang?
It's a difference.
All right, explain
but-
this.
All right, so this is not my
Podcast
argument.
on
I
hold.
saw this on Cracked After Hours, but it kind of ruined Spider-Man for me. Okay, he invented those web shooters. That's not a power.
Right.
That's a thing that he can make and reproduce.
Uh-huh.
And he purports to be a crime fighter, and he has made what would easily be the most effective non-lethal weapon available compared to like a taser or anything like that. You shoot it at someone, they're incapacitated. As far as I could tell, it doesn't seem to obstruct their breathing, even if you fire it right over their mouth.
Mhm.
They're safely ensconced in the web, and after an hour, it fades away. And theoretically, I believe he even has a solution that could dissolve it faster if he needs to. Right? I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I'm pretty sure that's
sure
a
he
thing.
does.
Okay. So the amount of crime he could fight by distributing that technology is so much higher than he could ever do as one person. He would make a ton of money and live comfortably and not have any of the Peter Parker problems that he has. And everything, like the utilitarian greater good of everything would be better. And I know you don't have Spider-Man if you do that, but like it makes so much more sense. So I'm kind of like, it's harder to empathize with his problems if it's like, just patent those fucking things and sell them.
Well, who keeps it out of the bad guys' hands at that point?
Yeah, capitalism.
I'd
You
rather
just
the
got
bad
everybody.
guys have.
You just got
All right,
everybody
so-
shooting webs at everybody.
That's
and then
fine.
it's just
That's
a-
great.
just a
That's
No
wild
one
west.
dies.
Yeah, that would still be
That's
better
way
than
better than
Guns of
bullets.
War.
Yeah. There's no scenario where this is worse. Like, okay, you get some idiots who try to swing on it and die, but that's a thing that's going to happen. But I'm okay with that. The lives you're going to save are so much more than the lives that they're going to take.
So should we make everybody an Iron Man suit too?
No, because Iron Man suits A, require that arc reactor, and B, I would not argue are less than lethal technology. And if the bad guys got their hands on them, would cause greater harm.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the Iron Man suit is one of those ones where there's a gray area, but I don't know if everyone needs to have one of those. Iron Man suit also brings into everyone can fly around, so you have all the air travel issues and the door that opens.
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
as-
if people can web swing, you're going to run into the same situation.
No, okay, but no one can actually web swing it. Like,
They'll try
everyone-
though.
and they'll try and so you'll
They'll
weed
only
out
hurt
some stupid
themselves.
people that are going to.
Oh,
like,
okay.
eat
Now we're
tripods.
thinning the herd. All right.
Yeah. But my point is, like, even the people that kill themselves web swinging is a shitty argument to like take away what would be a better non-lethal weapon than anything we have available.
Well, I don't know if you noticed this, Joe, but the police are useless. As soon as Spider-Man quit, crime went up 75%.
Yeah, I know. So the police need to be made better instead of having one fucking person do the whole thing. So that's why I know it's a kind of silly argument in the sense that it takes away the character,
Well, I don't think it's kind of a silly argument.
but at the same time, it's one of those ones that I can't not think that when I'm supposed to empathize with his problems. So I prefer that the webs come from him.
Okay.
Yeah, that is where I'm a bit torn, and like why I don't hold that against the Sam Raimi movies for having it come out of his wrists. But it is kind of a like that also doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and why would it do that? But,
Yeah.
All right, we'll just assume that the webs are made from like penguin hearts, and he has to kill penguins to make it, which is why he can only make a tiny
So
amount.
if there's a reasoning like that, then
Puppy
that's
dog
fine.
hearts.
But then he shouldn't be swinging all around the city on them, all willy-nilly either.
yeah.
Hell with those
Or-
penguins, man.
Yeah,
Or making big hammocks in the park to hang out with his girlfriend.
yeah.
So he drops off these
1,000
pizzas.
Yep.
penguins died for us to hang out here
Yeah.
and look at
And
the
is
stars.
this is like Zoe Deschanel's sister or something?
Yes, that's Bones.
That's Bones,
No.
baby.
All right. If you're gonna fucking make the 29-minute guarantee, then I'm gonna take advantage of it. That was your own dumbass fault for putting that out there in the first place.
Oh yeah, I'd be ordering
Oh.
from there all the time.
Yeah. But like that's a silly guarantee. Like that does not feel
Yeah.
realistic to me.
The problems with Mr. Aziz here, not with this lady, is what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Pizza
correct.
dude's got 30 seconds.
I mean,
Yeah.
she is being kind of a shit about it,
Mhm.
but at the same time, he did just come out of her closet like an asshole.
Yeah. Which, in fairness, if he just let those sit on the ground, he would have been fine. Then could have gone back and put them.
Would have been the
put them up
real
there.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. But how the fuck did he get in the closet anyway?
I don't know.
Must have been a window or
Because
something.
one theme you will see throughout the rest of the movie is he is terrible at stealth. He is abysmal at it. So I don't know how he got in there without anyone noticing. All right. So anyway, he goes back to Mr. Aziz. Mr. Aziz is like, "Look, Peter, you're a nice guy, but you're unreliable as fuck. So I have to fire you."
How
And I'm
dare
gonna-
you not make it to the other side? How dare you not traverse all 5
Yeah.
boroughs in 28 minutes?
Yeah.
You could not complete my impossible task.
Oh God, was this a fucking level in the video games?
Yeah,
Did
oh,
you
yeah.
have-
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, God
it
damn it.
absolutely was.
And you
I
couldn't
hate
take any
these
damage.
levels.
You couldn't take any damage because it
Yeah,
would
the
mess
pizza
up the
would get
pizza.
destroyed. Yeah.
And of course, people were attacking you while you were doing this.
It
Oh, yeah.
wasn't. It was not nearly as difficult as the movie.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So now, he fires Peter. Peter's like, "All right, well, your business is going to close anyway because of your stupid 29-minute guarantee." And we cut to, J. Jonah Jameson just being himself, just, talking
part of the
about
movie.
what's that?
That's part of the movie, pretty
Yeah,
much.
just fucking J.K. Simmons hamming it up, being awesome.
Pretty swole.
Yep. Talks about he wants some like Spider-Man pictures. Tells Peter to go get them. So Peter tries to show him like, here's some like pictures I took of like New Yorkers being New Yorkers. And he's like, no one wants to see that shit. Go get Spider-Man so I could talk more crap about him.
Is this your dick, Parker? Oh, how'd that get in there, Mr. Jameson? I don't know. You're fired.
Yeah, he also fires and unfires Peter like every scene.
Yeah. But who wouldn't? I mean, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's my management style. I hire and fire you as you enter my line of sight. Like basically, if you're not in my office directly working for me, I fire you.
Yeah, he gets a pep talk from Elizabeth Banks, and at this point,
yeah,
I'm
that is
like,
Elizabeth Banks. Yeah.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm like, Mary Jane, who? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple parts in this movie. So, he's got time management issues. If you haven't figured that out yet, well, everyone says he has time management issues because he's doing a million fucking things at once.
He's got everything management issues.
Okay, yeah, that touches on my problem number one, which is everyone's, understandably they're trying to set something up with the whole thing, you're unreliable, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, but I can't tell him it's because I'm Spider-Man, which I get. But at the same time, he can be like, dude, I'm going, like, taking full courses in college and doing, like, 5 jobs to help support me and my elderly mother or grandmother, whatever, to, try and live in fucking New York. Like, somebody give me a break here.
Yeah, he doesn't have to mention Spider-Man to any one particular person because he could just tell his professor, be like, yo, I have to fucking work like 4 jobs to go to this damn school.
Right.
And then he could tell the person, people he works for that, I'm trying to get a fucking PhD. I have to do a bunch of jobs to live in New York.
Yeah.
And he could tell all that to Mary Jane too. I mean, does that absolve him of anything? No, but at least it's something he could say other than just standing there and being like, I'll do better next time.
Let me cry and read you poetry.
I don't get it, Parker. You look so tired. Like, I worked 5 jobs. Of course I look
I'm
tired.
stressed out.
Yeah.
Mary Jane, bitch, I'm stressed out. I can't have a relationship right now.
So, fucking, his professor's like, Peter, you suck. You're brilliant, but like, you're never here. Class is over. Go write your paper on Otto Octavius.
The lizard.
Who's Otto Octavius, you ask? We'll find out quite soon, because what's his name? Peter Parker goes home to his Aunt MJ, and it's his birthday party, and or his Aunt May, and MJ's there, and Harry's there. And this scene just gets fucking sad real fast.
Yep.
Like, this movie, anything that's not sad immediately becomes sad the longer it's on film.
Yep.
Like, if you chart any scene in this movie with, like, time versus sadness on a graph, it's always just a downward plunge.
Tony,
like, Harry, yeah?
And wasn't there a potential Spider-Man 4 that the guy who was set up as the lizard was going to be the villain?
Yes. Well, yeah, originally there was a script that had, I believe it was Doc Ock, the Lizard, and Black Cat all running around doing shit.
And don't forget Bruce Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes.
Mysterio.
I think that was for the third one. But
No, he's Mysterio.
Craven. I could see Craven though.
Just give him a mustache.
No, there's like panels of him as Mysterio.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's fun.
He was supposed to be Mysterio like this whole time, kind of guiding Peter towards
Being an asshole.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't even like a guiding him. I think it was, I believe it was for the third one, and I think it was literally like a kind of a cold open situation where they were just arresting Mysterio, played by Bruce Campbell.
Wow.
That's why
That
he
would've been
even says during the play, it breaks the illusion.
Oh,
Oh, snap.
So anyway, we find out at this party that Harry very much hates Spider-Man.
I guess if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. The director is telling Harry that he has to hate Spider-Man.
It's because he saw Spider-Man put his dead dad on that sofa, right?
Yeah.
And this is again where I'm like, I know you can't give him everything, but give him something. Because it's, oh,
Yeah.
Spider-Man killed my father. Be like, no, Green Goblin killed your father. It's the
Yeah.
truth, and you don't have to get into the fact that he is the Green Goblin. Just say Green
Yeah.
Goblin killed him.
Yeah, but
Shut the fuck up.
George Lucas had his finger on the lawsuit button. He was like, "No, you're not gonna say that, friend.
What,
so
Green Goblin?
I already wrote all the character dialogue for you. You're not gonna
He taps him on the shoulder and says, "From a certain point of view, Green Goblin killed your father."
So, yeah, I forgot about that because it was just Spider-Man in the first one just brings his dead father back, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like, how many murderers are just like, hey, I killed this here? Like, that's not how murderers do.
Right.
Looks like his
Well, that's how cats do.
Yeah, that is how cats do.
the wounds match the blade from the Green Goblin surfboard thing.
Yeah.
Must have been
Right through his
Spider-Man.
dick.
Yeah. Spider-Man, known for his blades.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, even still, Spider-Man
Known for
not
his
known
deadly
for stabbing
use of
people.
force.
Yeah. So,
Especially random high muckety mucks of some
Yeah.
company that has nothing to do with nothing.
I know Spider-Man stabbed my father's dick twice.
so no one in this movie's doing well. Fucking Aunt May, like, all right, you skipped presumably the fun part of the party, but I could tell that party was not fun.
No,
But,
sadly we didn't.
Yeah.
It was
Aunt-
literally just all of them waiting in the dark for Peter to get home.
Yeah.
None of them.
Well,
And then they,
God
then
damn
they
it,
just
he's
went
always
home.
late.
Yeah.
We missed the part where they all had cake on, like, 4-year-old birthday plates
Mhm.
and like just played a game of Cards Against Humanity or something.
Yeah.
God.
And
So-
Aunt May got offended.
So
No,
Aunt May,
Everybody
Aunt May-
home.
Aunt May creeped everybody out because she
Yeah.
knew what was up.
It was her copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, pooping back and forth forever. I love this card. Like, oh, jeez. Aunt May, stop.
The party's over.
so Aunt May is fucking, she's losing her house and her mind. And she's really freaking out over the concept of Peter not taking $20 from her.
That
It's
that hit me
Don't
hard.
you dare leave it in the house.
That hit me hard. That was so sad. Like, she's like, I don't have much. Just take this damn $20 that I'm trying to give you for your birthday.
Yeah.
Take it or I'll stop taking my meds, I swear to God.
I
You'll
also like-
find my body in the hallway tomorrow.
I like when he woke her up on the table because of course she fell asleep during all this.
Right.
Yeah.
She's just like, what? Oh, I thought I was back in the war, killing all the. I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
I forgot where I was for a moment. Sorry.
Oh, Ben, I'm coming back to see you. Ben, this is the big one.
Search the attics for Jews. Oh, a beach?
So Peter's like, all right, let me take the trash outside. And apparently Mary Jane's just been in the backyard the whole time.
Hmm?
Sure. Okay.
Not even his backyard.
No, just
Her old
I mean,
backyard.
yeah. So fucking she talks to him for a while. She's like, here, I'm right here, Peter, make your move. He's like, I'm not gonna do it.
No, Joe.
But
He's like, oh, golly gee. Gee whiz. Golly willikers. Well, I sure would like to date you, Miss Mary Jane, but ooh, golly gee, I just...
meanwhile, she's playing fucking sexual chicken with this guy while she's apparently seeing somebody else. She was just like, well, let me see what this dude does.
Well,
Let's see what
my
he's
goodness.
Just
into.
in case. Like,
just the twilight levels of chemistry between
Yeah,
these
just-
two is
and-
really just...
And now MJ is the only one who seems to have good things going for her, but you couldn't tell from how fucking Kirsten Dunst is acting here. And so this is just another sad scene. It's awkward. Peter wants to tell her. Go ahead, Tony.
Well, just because she's she's got a modeling career, she's got an
Yeah.
acting career, she's dating an astronaut, and things are going well. But all she really wants is the love of this one dorky guy who
Yep.
just won't take it.
Yeah.
That's
She
it.
also says, happy birthday, Peter, and I'm seeing someone in the same breath.
Which apparently she still came over there with the intention, though, of receiving some sort of kiss from him, even though she's dating this other dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, the astronaut found out he'd kick
Yeah.
Peter's ass. Well, I
She's
guess I
like,
thought he would
You
try
down
to.
to cuck, bro? You down to cuck? Let's do this.
Well, this
Yeah.
we'll get into this more later, but I do find one of the problems with it is unlike George Lucas, as Rob implied before, where no one talks like humans.
Mhm.
They talk like like if you were having a normal conversation and you had like some of those inner thoughts, except you don't have the normal conversation, you just speak those thoughts out loud.
Mm-hmm.
That's how everyone in this movie talks.
So
So it's all blunt and weird and just comes out of nowhere.
I'm telling you, George Lucas must have done a pass on the dialogue.
No, because if that were the case, no one would talk like humans. It would be
Yeah.
like no interaction you've ever encountered.
All right,
So-
so
all right, Peter's like, check it out. I'm gonna go see your play. And she's like, oh, goody gumdrops, whatever. She's like, you ain't gonna be there. She knows that.
Classic
So anyway, so
Steve Ditko dialogue.
yeah, fucking. He goes home. His now, mind you, he is fucking Spider-Man, right? His roommate. I mean, his landlord is just like, I got the ears of a cat. I
freaking
heard you coming.
fiddler
like-
on the rent over here.
Yeah, the script is like his landlord is Eastern European. It's funny somehow, which I
Lives
think
across
at
the
this
hall.
point in the 2000s, just being Eastern European was all you had to do to be funny.
We're going to move back to Sokovia soon. I'm sure it will be great.
I heard it's on the rise.
Yeah.
You got me on that one, Will. Fucking steals Peter's $20 bill. He's like, give me the rent. And fucking, he's like, don't try to sneak past me.
Don't
And-
look at my Lord Lapkus
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah, look at my daughter light the apartment on fire.
She's so skinny. She's a bitch.
Mhm. And then fucking, all right,
That
so he
wasn't
goes,
a joke. That was me. She's a bitch, and I'll explain why later.
he goes,
Wow.
oh God, I am not looking forward to that. He tries to use the bathroom the next day. The landlord just cuts him off. Apparently there's just one bathroom that they all have to share.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Then he goes off to meet Otto Octavius because Harry's just like, yeah, I'll fucking go take you to meet this guy. I pay his bills. He's got to do what I say.
Huh.
Otto Octavius is like, he comes in, he's like, hey, I'm Peter Parker. He's like, fudge off, you fuck.
I don't have this fucking time for you, kid.
Then he's like,
Right?
oh, wait, oh, okay, it's you. You're
Oh.
lazy, but I want to hang out with you. And so, yeah, they spend the day together talking about intelligence being a gift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to be fair, it's kind of like, if somebody like showed up to your group and you were just like, oh, who's this guy? Until like you found out that both of you are really into D&D.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, we could actually talk like rules and regulations. Like shit.
Now, since this movie does not have Peter Parker designing the web shooters,
Yep.
do any of these films show Peter Parker's intelligence at all?
Well, yeah,
he-
here.
All he does
like,
is name an inventor.
Not when he puts his hand up in school. That's not the same.
yeah.
He
I mean, it
doesn't
just
use
shows
for-
he goes to a school, he goes to a college and takes advanced science courses. That's about
Okay,
all they
great.
show.
All
Well,
right,
yeah,
cool.
They talk about him being smart a lot
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than they actually show it.
Well, he
Yeah,
also
that's fair.
says poetry. He's like, oh, yeah, nothing gets a woman hot like a weepy, frog-eyed dipshit
Yeah.
crying out poetry. Try that.
So
Creepy McCool.
Terrible times.
fucking Otto's like, check it out. I made this fusion reactor, and you get the first glimpse of it, and I'm like, oh god damn it, I can't look at it. And then fucking, then he's like, this is gonna solve everything. It's gonna be great. And he's like, here's my wife. Let's just get her in this movie for a minute. So it's sad when she dies in a few. Oh, hi, honey. He's
That's
like,
nice.
yeah, give read your girlfriend some poetry. You'll win. Go get out of here. So Peter like does some laundry and studies some poetry. And what do we do? Where are we at now? So now
more,
you see
more of
in,
Peter being an insufferable crybaby.
yeah, in the laundry, his fucking spider suit has ruined the whites that he put in there with them.
Because
And-
he put them in with his red spider suit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, this
Yeah, they're not
movie.
doing a good job showing us his like.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
life
know.
shits on this dude, but like his personal accountability is not that great
Doesn't-
either.
doesn't shit on this dude. Everything is
Like-
because of the actions he chooses.
Yeah. He
Well,
is
no,
the
some of it is life shitting on him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bruce
hey,
Wayne's
your
parents
Uncle Ben
died. Look
died.
how successful he was. Okay.
Your
yeah.
Uncle Ben died. I wonder why. Oh, because you felt pissy because the guy didn't want to give you money. So you let a robber get away.
So all right, Mary Jane.
MJ.
Oh,
You
go ahead.
can't get a date with MJ. Oh, because you won't just tell her anything. You just tell her nothing. You're like, oh, I'll be your friend. Okay. Now she doesn't want anything to do with you because
Oh,
you
she'll be in danger if she knows, but the villain kidnaps her all the time
every single
anyway.
movie anyway.
Every
yeah.
movie anyway.
So fucking Mary Jane, she's super excited because Peter's gonna come to her play, and Peter's on his way on his little bike, but he gets sidetracked by one of those common everyday Manhattan car chases.
Right.
Like, have you ever tried to have a car chase in Manhattan? See how that
It
goes.
appears the getaway car is up to a whopping 5.5 miles per hour.
Yeah, I mean,
Creeping through taxi after taxi.
the cops are not any further behind him. Like, they're creeping along too. The helicopter's just hovering in place above them.
The cops just get out and walk up to the car. They're like, all right, come on, man.
Well, yeah, it is funny because earlier when he was trying to deliver the pizzas, that showed real New York traffic.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden it's clear sailing all down the street.
And, okay, so now Spider-Man, right? Like, it took him a little while to get this problem solved. If he just snuck up on him, he probably could have just taken him out right away. No problem. But he sucks at stealth. So he gets these guys dealt with, and then he, like, does some other shit. And he shows up for the play, but he's got to get past to Bruce Campbell.
Fucking Mysterio.
Bruce Campbell's not having any of Peter's shit. He's like, tie your shoe, straighten your tie, now get the fuck out of here. Because you ain't
like
coming in here.
in the first one?
He was
The
something
third
in
one?
it.
Yeah, he was the
Waiter?
ring announcer.
Oh, yeah.
The waiter was the third one.
Gotcha.
So
He's the one that calls him Spider-Man.
that's true. Yeah, the man spider. That's terrible. Also, can we just give special props to Macho Man Randy Savage? Because that scene's fucking awesome. Anyway,
right.
So is ready.
oh yeah, you're mine for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime. So anyway, so now he's fucking Spider-Man. You can get in that theater, dude. Like, Bruce Campbell's not that formidable of an obstacle. There's got to be another way in. Like, Batman would just be like, okay, and, Bruce Wayne would walk out and Batman would just be in the theater.
Yeah.
Everyone would be like, how the hell did you do that? There was only one door. He'd be like, fuck you, that's how. Let's watch the play. And everyone would be like, okay, and accept it. Like, Spider-Man should have no problem sneaking in there, but he doesn't. He just waits for her outside. And her performance is all thrown off by the fact that he's not there. So MJ's all pissed. And, at this point, we get this lady's plucking a violin and doing her rendition of Spider-Man. And then, MJ's like, trying to, it's basically like, the same shit we're seeing. Peter, you're not reliable. Wanted you to be there. You're not there. Blah, blah, blah. Everyone else can make it 8 o'clock curtain time. You can't. Here's my boyfriend. I'm out.
Is this the part where she goes like, Jameson's come 5 times, Harry's come 3?
No, that's later on.
Okay. Aunt May.
Even Aunt May got in there.
She had to use one of her
bones.
So she used one whole Social Security check.
Yeah, this is also where I mean, maybe I'm leaving some things out, but I would also have just tried to go the following night and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got the dates wrong, but I'm here." But failing that, when she's like, why can't you do that? I'd be like, I ride a moped through New York. That's fucking tough.
How about this? Just lie.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, yeah, I was there.
But she knows the seat she gave.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah, dude.
And it's not that big of a theater.
There's a spotlight on the seat he was supposed to be in.
Yeah, but be like, I showed up a little bit late and I just snuck in. I had to stand in the back, but I saw you. You were great. I went to talk to you after your words, but you were with your boyfriend, so I just left.
So it'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to a fucking Nobel Prize physicist about a goddamn fusion reactor. I got here 1 minute late, and the usher was a douchebag.
Yeah,
fuck.
He does try to blame the usher on that voicemail. And it sounds so sad.
He just an insufferable crybaby.
Yeah.
Also,
just take control of your own life, Peter Parker.
Yeah, true. But also a tip for anyone that might find themselves in this position: don't wait on the steps across the street. Wait on the freaking steps of the door that she's going to come out of.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, so
Oh,
fucking he goes off to fight crime, and now this movie is not sad enough. He's swinging along, and he fucking runs out of web, and his powers start to fail. And now Spider-Man's having goddamn performance anxiety. Like it's just sad to watch. Now he's stuck up on a roof because he can't swing down. So and he doesn't trust that he could climb down. So you get this awkward scene of just him in an elevator with a guy talking about how the costume rides his crotch.
Yeah, sharing a little too much there.
And Go ahead.
No, just he's in the elevator with the most Freddiest of Prinze Juniors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Jordan Sparks, ladies and gentlemen. That's a cameo that really held up, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who that is.
House.
All right.
Exactly.
Yep. So Peter now just drags his sorry-looking scooter that's been run over, drags that home, calls MJ, just fails all over her answering machine, then runs out of time, doesn't bother to put more money in the payphone, and tells the truth to nobody on a deadline. And he's like, oh, wait, I got to go see this fusion reactor. And this is the point in the theater where the blood started to boil. Okay. And I wish that I was one of those people that can just say it's a comic book movie. Don't worry about it. But I can't. And so we're seeing a fusion reactor, a fucking fusion reactor.
Mm-hmm.
That this guy's making that takes a thing of tritium, fires 4 lasers at it, and makes 1,000 megawatts of power in front of everybody.
The power of 1,000 suns.
Yeah.
The power of the sun in the palm of your hand. Coming to you this summer, Capri Sun, liquid refreshment.
So I'm not expecting everybody to know everything about power generation and whatnot.
Probably good.
Who, what you got to try harder than this. There's a fucking sun in the room that they're standing next to,
and he's wearing a wife beater.
Are you telling me you can't just push solar flares down with a claw?
With a claw, it's impervious to heat and magnetism.
I believe if I
you
wrote
could take
down
out
the
Magneto with
here,
that.
Yeah, he says the metal is heat-proof and non-magnetic, and the safety chip is housed in a robin's egg.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah.
Similar to what you were saying about Peter Parker's web, he could just market these AI tentacles.
Yeah. No, he's fucking made bionics here right now. Now, granted, I mean, there's more money in the fusion reactor, but you got a product that freaking works here. So, and why is the inhibitor chip not, with the processor and the rest of the CPU that seems to be buried deep within the inner workings of it? Where's the battery that powers these arms? Who cares?
He is the battery that powers the arms.
Yeah.
He might be, but I would say, I'm pretty sure Dr. Connors be real interested in something like this.
The arms are powered
Why didn't you give this to me, your one-armed friend?
The arms are powered by new Capri Sun Tritium blend.
Yeah.
Liquid
Tritium
cool.
blast.
Tritium blast.
So,
the power of the sun in the palm of your hand, Joe.
Not only are they firing bullshit at you left and right here, but then he says things like, this will give cheap, free energy to everyone. And he's like, here's this hunk of tritium that there's only 25 pounds of on the entire planet.
Well, you didn't let him finish, Joe. He meant
I guess not.
Everyone that's white and has money.
Yeah. Fucking.
Well, no, I think the idea you power up one and it can power the whole city.
Is it like a candle where you light one and then you can light all the other fusion reactors with the first one? Like, is that how that works?
You'll have to ask him.
You just dip the fusion reactor into the other one.
I'm sure we'll find out in Spider-Man: No Way Home, coming to theaters.
So this idiot is firing up any sort of power plant without a containment vessel, which is like you're not even legally allowed to do that.
Indoors.
But indoors, yeah.
On a dock.
Fucking just with people just standing next to a goddamn sun. And it's making when he powers it up, it's making 1,000 megawatts of power. That is the same as all 4 of Chernobyl's reactors going at maximum power. That is 1/3 of what Chernobyl made before it exploded. That's a lot of goddamn power for something that doesn't even have a damn boiler or a turbine to make the power with. It's just a fucking sun hanging out in the middle of nowhere. I'm really mad. This is so fucking lazy. And then when this fails, everyone acts surprised. Like, Just look at the goddamn thing. Like,
Well,
why is
I think
anyone allowing him to turn this on? I'm sorry, Rob. I'm
I
almost
think
done.
It's going to
think
stabilize. I promise.
I think the shards of glass flying at his wife's face were really what surprised her the most. But I mean, I did like his little icebreaker joke. He was like, "Hey, did anybody lose a roll of $20 bills?
yeah.
Because you're all gonna have all the cancer today."
Yeah. So it's so like the arms and the fusion reactor together are this 1-2 punch of just like, here's a bunch of bullshit. Here's too much bullshit. I can't handle it. I'm immediately checked out. I don't care anymore about anything in this film. And I know that this is going to go wrong, but I would have at least liked to have seen that he made some sort of effort to make sure it was going to go right first, rather than just build an obvious fucking death trap.
It seems it's a very, very like late 90s superhero situation.
Yeah.
Like, it's very dumb. And it is early 2000s, so it's still within that time frame. But it is very much a product of its time, where it's just like, it's I don't know, there was like a writer's room, they're just like, it's a fusion reactor, and we need something scientific, something really high tech, because he can't just have these damn arms for, like, I don't know, whatever. He can't be trying to, like, help just people with, like, amputees or something stupid like that. We gotta really get it.
Let me get back to the arms.
Uh-huh.
Fucking arms. Like, okay, how lazy is it to just be like, a woman, she says different words, but she's basically like, oh, well, those are computer, and so you're putting a computer by your brain, so it's going to make you evil. And like that's just
really
what
did
happens.
Sound like that too.
That's just what happens. Because in movies, computer plus AI equals evil, automatic.
Yeah, well,
not even like a progression to it. It just immediately becomes it. Then he's like, no, don't worry, I thought of that. I made a chip that just constantly tells it, I guess, that not to be evil.
It's like, it just keeps slapping it. No.
Yeah.
No.
And then it's just in this little glass housing at the top of my neck, where anything can bump into it.
It looks like a friggin' Christmas light.
Yeah, and it's all lit up too. Yeah, it is just a Christmas light, actually. I don't think it ever worked to begin with.
It's just a little LED. Like, it was, He just
It's
put
an
LED.
It's an LED in a little stink bomb.
Yeah. So, all right, this shit gets going, and fucking, what's that? That was Daniel Day Kim there, wasn't it, as the research assistant?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pre-Hawaii 5-0 and Lost. He's like, all right, it's working. And then suddenly, like, paper clips start flying, and then, like, everyone's jewelry starts flying off. And you get this weird delayed action magnetism that affects things in the room one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. The thing's a really powerful magnet. Not that, it's a fucking sun happening, with temperatures high enough to separate and fuse matter back together, i.e. fusion. But no, it's the magnetism's the problem.
Well, that's what fuses the great taste of tritium with power berries.
With power,
and really, really explains the blast of flavor you get with every sip of Capri Sun Tritium Blast.
And Otto's like, he's like, nah, it's okay. We got this. Like, he didn't even know that magnetism was even a factor.
He did, though, because he made sure to mention that the arms were non-magnetic.
Yeah. So it's
he knew he was going to be fine.
Yeah. What?
It's like, I'll be fine.
He knew, there's no way he didn't know that there was at least going to be some sort of magnetic activity, and there's not even like a containment vessel. The thing's not even in like a basket, like anything.
That was one of my bigger problems. He's like, again, the arms, they're immune to being to magnetics, and they're immune to heat. But it's like, you're not. You shouldn't be standing that close.
Yeah, standing that close with your titties out.
Yeah,
that's not
a wife beater.
Yeah, I would have loved it if he, things started going haywire, and he's like, "No, I think I got this," and then just like it ripped his skin off.
My nipples, the nipples.
Your Italian chain gonna get tore off.
It's like my nipple rings. They're magnetic.
Also, spoiler alert for those at home. When you're dealing with temperatures hot enough to separate atoms and fuse them back together, nothing is immune to heat of that magnitude.
But I mean, he was at a safe 5 to 6 feet distance.
He was, yes, he was.
So chill the F out, man.
All right. So anyway, like, his wife gets a whole fucking bad CGI glass effect.
Rosie the Riveted, am I right,
Yeah.
everybody?
Ba-dum-ts.
We can do it.
And yes, like, Spider-Man just shows up and he's like, let's shut this thing off. And Dr. Octopus is just like, fuck you, and slaps him.
No, I got this.
Yeah, this is great.
My juice.
And then fucking, like, he, I forget what even knocks him out. Something hits, he gets electrocuted.
Yeah.
Then his little, like, my arms aren't evil chip immediately fucking fails like everybody knew it would. And yeah, and go ahead.
Just that's why do we need that detail? Why couldn't it just be, even if you want to go this whole route, just he gets electrocuted, the thing gets fused to his spine, it's now making him crazy because it's attached to him all the time.
Right.
That's all you need.
How about it's not even AI? Like, how about it's just like the electrocution makes him crazy, or like standing that close to the sun made him crazy.
I mean that could, but like they want to do like a whole thing where the arms have their own, agency and like they're doing things on their own. But
that's just Sam Raimi. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just fucking, you got 2 hours worth of movie that you're spending an awful lot of it just showing off how sad fucking Peter Parker is. Spend a little bit more time on pre-accident Doc Ock. Do something like he's got a terrible case of scoliosis or something, and the arms help him actually get around, and he's modified them for the experiments and stuff. Like, he's, they're part of him and they've always been part of him, but they do have a computer in them, and that computer does actually, talk to his brain, and it does actually give him a slight case of schizophrenia. And, when he suffers a traumatic event like his wife dying and his life's work fucking blowing up on him. Yep.
I don't know how to tell you this, but you're describing the Spider-Man video game for PlayStation 4.
Oh, well, is that bad?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
actually,
there you go. Case.
That's why I'm excited for him to actually be in the new Spider-Man movie, because I bet he's going to be like a good guy in it.
Cool.
So hopefully they'll redeem the character a little.
I wouldn't count on that. But
So
I'm
anyway,
not counting on anything, but
yeah. So
hopefully they'll make him at least cool.
he gets electrocuted. He passes out. Spider-Man pulls the plug on the fusion reactor, which, like, if it should be sustaining itself now, like, but whatever. And then
Harry's whining like a bitch the whole time.
Yep.
Let's not forget that.
Yep, Harry's whining like a bitch. This reactor apparently has no way to actually, like, shut it off. It doesn't have like a scram button or something. Like, there's no way to turn it off. You have to rip the wires out the wall. And
The kill switch is to pull the wires out.
And then Dr. Octopus, fucking his wife gets a big thing of glass in the face. And cut to outside. Yeah, Harry's pissed because, Spider-Man showed up and ruined his experiment.
It's just the most pissy little. It's so
And
bad.
you're like, I can't take you seriously. Just shut up.
He disgraced me by touching me.
Well, yeah. Also, during the whole thing, he's crying about like, I paid for this. You'll do what I want. Like,
Yeah. Spider-Man saves his life. I forgot about that. Swings in and moves him out of the way from something. He's like, this doesn't change anything. Like, fuck you, dude.
And even his driver's like, yeah, Spider-Man saved your life. Why don't you just chill the F out? Have a Capri Sun. Have one of these tritium blasts. They're great. You really get the power of the sun in the palm of your hand.
Just sit in the back of the car, have a Capri Sun and some Dunkaroos, and calm yourself down.
Oh man, I want some Dunkaroos.
I can't remember the taste of Dunkaroo.
They're back, Joe.
They're back?
So good.
They're back.
A field trip may be in order. All right, I'll wait till the end of the podcast. At least for now.
Why don't we just? Well, I'll see if I can seek them out for when we start recording in person again.
I don't know if I can wait that long.
All right.
Anyway, so we cut to the scene now at the hospital where we get some surgeons talking about the procedure they're going to do. Like, right as they got the guy anesthetized on the table, like, that's when you tell the other doctors what you're going to do.
It's like, oh, we knocked him out. What do we do now?
So fucking, he's like, we're just going to cut these arms off of him. And then, we got all this metal fused to him. Like, it's fused to his nerves. Like, his nerves are now part of these arms, blah, blah, blah. So the arms, of course, come alive and just kill everyone in a scene that takes too long.
It's like
But-
straight out of Evil Dead.
Can
Yeah, I
I
was just gonna say this
Yeah.
is when we find out how they're powered, and it's by Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Powered by the
The
power
Book of the
Sam
Dead.
Raimi.
Yeah, because these arms have a hell of a power source, and I guess that's always been a thing in the comics. I don't understand ever how they were powered, but anyway, so
I don't think the comics ever understood how they're powered.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so fucking some guy, like in the middle of this fight, this dude, one of the surgeons, pulls out what can only be described as a surgical chainsword. Like he just reached into Warhammer 40,000 and pulled out a goddamn chainsword to try to fight these arms with.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that doesn't go so well.
Again, that whole little part for sure was Sam Raimi going, I made Evil Dead, remember?
Yep.
We got the chainsaw, we got Evil Dead vision. But I will say, I do like this part because this is brutal. Apparently, this was going to be worse, but they had to tone it down for a PG rating. But I like that.
So I would have, of all the quote-unquote action scenes in this movie, well, I'm sorry, there are legitimate action scenes in this movie, but of all the action scenes in this movie, this is probably my favorite, but I felt it went on a little too long.
The hospital scene?
Yeah.
So here's the problem that I have with it. It's so disparate from everything else in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a completely separate movie.
It
so
is.
I don't feel it belongs here at all.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
feel
hate
like-
it. I just don't feel it belonged in this movie.
Well,
I
here's
feel
the
that
thing.
way about a lot of scenes in this movie.
I know you do.
Well, if supposedly this was kind of like going to be test footage, but it worked so well they turned it into a whole scene for the movie. And I feel like this is the movie Sam Raimi really wanted to make, but the studio was like, dude, remember PG-13, this is going to be for
Yep.
kids. Like, you got to chill.
I will say the CG in this scene is really well done. Like I know a lot of it is puppets, but a lot of it also is CG
Oh,
by
yeah.
necessity.
Mhm.
So,
I
and it
love
looks
the,
really good.
I love the woman getting pulled under the table and like her nails scraping
yeah.
Mhm. It's got some
linoleum.
serious nails.
Yeah, Wolverine,
Um,
Lady Deathstroke.
all right, so he then caps off this scene of atrocities with a Darth Vader style no. Goes outside and throws a taxi cab with his newfound arm power. And he's like, "Oh, I'll just go over to Shanty Pier over here, set up shop there." I could have at least, thrown in him like, murdering a few bums and pigeons as he went in there.
I mean, it looks like he did. He's
Yeah.
freaking Dr. Dadbot over here, just like covered in table scraps.
So,
I just love how convenient. There's a half collapsed in the water, building of some kind on the pier. Perfect.
oh, just Shanty Pier. We'll go there.
Yeah, just what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I know.
It's just one of those evil layers that the police are too busy to do anything about after Spider-Man defeated whoever was in there before.
Yeah, it's kind of like how, you got to wonder at some point how many closed amusement parks are there in Gotham City for
Yeah.
Joker to hang out in?
And meat factories and
Mhm.
chemicals with no lids on them.
Yes, like seriously, after the first person fell in the vats, just handrails.
They ran OSHA out of town. A
Yeah.
long time
Well,
ago.
All right. To be fair, I believe it has since been proven that most of those companies are owned by Bezos, so
Mhm.
yeah, he
All
doesn't
right.
care.
No, I thought
That's
they were
true.
run by the
Handrails
Empire.
affect work rates. Anyway, so
Empire
now
don't believe in handrails.
That Empire was owned by Bezos too.
Okay, makes sense.
this next scene kind of struck me as Sam. Well, the scriptwriter was just like, tell J.K. Simmons to go in there and say whatever he feels like. J.K. Simmons is like, I'm just going to shit all over the concept of this movie. Because he's just like, all right, well, what's the odds of a guy named Octavius having 8 arms? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Dr. Octopus, that name's crap. Doctor Strange, that's a good name, but it's taken. Dr. Octopus, it's a good name. Glad I thought of it. And his assistant, that is Sam Raimi, right? Or that's Ted Raimi.
Ted Raimi.
Ted Raimi,
That's
yeah.
Ted Raimi. Yeah, Ted Raimi, who originally thought of it, is like, yeah, of course you thought of it.
Joxer the Mighty.
So then Peter Parker comes in and he's like, all right, you got to go to this high society ball for my son. take pictures of him being awesome. And then the movie cuts back to a scene that really could have been an amazing scene and should have been going on sooner and longer, which is you see the part where Otto Octavius becomes Dr. Octopus. And the arms, he's just like, no, I'm not evil. And the arms are like, yes, you are. And he's like, all right, I guess I am. I couldn't have made a mistake. It was because fucking Spider-Man ruined it. I just need to build the same exact design, but bigger.
Yeah, that's all. Bigger.
And how am I going to get the money? Oh, we'll steal it. I can't steal it. And the arms are like, yes, you can. And he's like, oh, I guess, yes, I can.
I'm not a criminal. I'm like, yeah, let's check the footage here.
Yeah. And I would have liked to have seen a longer version of the scene, or this scene split up into smaller scenes where he slowly loses it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, they're like, oh, that your little Christmas light's broken. And he's like, oh, you got me. I'm evil.
But then they would have had to cut a bunch of scenes of Tobey Maguire with little tears in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. The important thing is we can't spend any more time on that because we need to see Aunt May hoggling for a free toaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Joe
Going to
McHale.
the bank and fucking finding out that her house is going to get fucking repossessed or whatever, and that she can't even get the goddamn toaster.
Joel McHale rocking his natural widow's peak.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So
the bank scene.
And again, these are things that legitimately only bother me, and I will fully acknowledge like that this should only bother me. But like Dr. Octopus just walks in there, his arms just rip a vault door off the wall. Like that's a thing you can do. Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, yeah.
How
Well, this
stronger
is-
his arms? As strong as they need to be, I guess.
Right.
See, I'll give them more leniency on the whatever. Maybe they're strong enough to rip a vault door off. I don't. That doesn't seem possible. But whatever.
Yeah.
I
Pushing
question
it.
more. How do you get that far without someone noticing?
It's not. See, it's not hard to sneak around, and it's a shame that Spider-Man is so
Spider-Man,
bad at
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because like it's a superhero movie. You could stealth. Like it's not hard.
I mean, he's walking around with no shirt and a trench coat. He looks like friggin' Raphael for the first Ninja
Yeah.
Turtle movie.
I guarantee you, if
I would
my
hit the
fat
alarmist immediately.
Yeah, if my fat ass walked into a bank today with no shirt and just a trench coat on, I'd be arrested immediately. Forget
Yeah.
about the fact I don't have 4 mechanical arms.
That's pretty much what happens
be
when you
blown
walk into
away
a bank
immediately.
In general.
Yeah.
Not even arrested.
So fucking he so Peter just leaves his Aunt May there. She's like, "Where are you going?" He just runs off. Spider-Man comes back and is immediately spotted and intercepted by Dr. Octopus. And we have a money fight. They're just throwing money
Who's
at each
banking at
other.
this bank? Scrooge McDuck?
Yeah. There's just
All these
bags of money.
doubloons?
Yeah, of just doubloons. I think the bank vault just has money bags just piled up in there.
It's all Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the bank where all the assassins from John Wick go.
So, this fight breaks out, and like, it's another problem I have with Spider-Man. In that, like, I felt this fight would be interesting if it was a thing like Spider-Man, who has the strength to lift up a bus and
Correct.
to stop a moving train,
Correct.
can't knock this man out with one punch. And I know that he does pull his punches because he doesn't want to kill anyone.
Yeah, but I
But you can
actually-
fucking knock it. Like, he can, if he can do all the other things he can do, he could incapacitate the dude with one punch. So I would much rather see a fight where he has to deal with the arms. He has to get past the arms, and the arms have a computer processor. They each have their own camera. There's 2 brains, in control of them, and it's really difficult. And the fight is actually like a thing of him trying to figure out how he's going to do that, rather than just having the same fucking standard ass brawl that everybody has, where he punches Octopus in the face a bunch of times.
Yeah,
And
I
you're
have
like-
to tell you,
not-
Joe. I have to tell you, I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah.
Even though he pulls his punches, like once Aunt May is kidnapped, you'd think that would be
Yeah.
like, all right, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. You're going down. I am
Yeah.
gonna knock your. I'm gonna lay you out.
No, but again, that is even with pulling his punches, this is just a guy. There's no
Yeah.
explanation
Yeah.
of
It's
why
just
he
a
can
freaking-
take a hit like that.
Just a fat old man. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, he just is drinking wine every night. Like, even if you hit him once, like, his heart would just explode, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna pull my punch so I don't knock your jaw off, but I'm still gonna knock you the hell out.
Yeah.
Right.
Or just punch him once really hard in the solar plexus, and he's done. Like, he's just
You just collapsed his
he's
entire
gonna be
skeletal
crying for the
structure.
he's gonna be crying for the rest of the film and whizzing red and pooping himself. Anyway, so I don't even know what happens with this thing that Spider-Man does with two tables where he grabs them each with a web while Dr. Octopus is trying to crush his head, and something happens where one table gets blocked but the other table's coming in really fast, hits this dude hard enough to knock him like out through the bank's window and
Crashes
into
him
a car.
He'd be dead.
I'm like, you're
He'd be
dead.
dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're just dead.
Deceased. Would have died.
Yeah. So now, like, he grabs Aunt May and starts climbing up the side of a building. And the cops show up and they're like, hey, we don't got this, even though we got guns and he's just a guy.
But he's got an old lady.
Yeah, that's all you, Spider-Man. So fucking they he carries Aunt May up the side of a building. He's fighting Spider-Man on this building. He's got his little hidden spiky thing he's gonna get Spider-Man with, but Aunt May's like, I'm not having that, so I'm gonna hit you in the head with an umbrella.
No cheating.
Yeah. The umbrella shot from this old lady hurts more than that Spider-Man punch, because Doc Oc's done after that. He's like,
Yeah.
all right, well,
It like breaks his glasses, and it looks like
Yeah.
he just got like the worst hit he's ever
Yeah.
experienced.
he's like, we
After-
can't repel firepower of this magnitude.
After Spider-Man's given him like 30 haymakers
Yeah.
straight to the dome. Yeah, like I don't know. And that's the thing. It's so hard because yes, your points are all valid and I agree with you 100%, but at the same time, like, the fights are fun. They're fun to watch. Like, I enjoy watching them.
I had zero fun with most of these fights.
I get you, and I'm not even going to disagree. But
I'm sorry. The next one starts off well, and then becomes arguably one of my least favorite fights I've ever seen.
well, there's that. I do have a question. I have a question for the group. How do y'all feel about the Spider-Man costume?
It's
fine.
very early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment of it. Fine for the early 2000s.
Okay. Like,
Yeah.
I found it, so when the first Spider-Man movie came out, I was like, yeah, that looks cool. This time I'm like, I don't like this.
With the weird raised webs.
Yeah, the weird raised web. Like, it wasn't even the webs necessarily. Like, it's the weird, like, I don't know. Like, it looks too much just like a pair of pajamas. And, like, the eyes kind of bother me. And I think, if I'm just being honest, I think I've just been spoiled by the MCU and what
Yeah,
they've
I was
done.
gonna say that.
In the
Yeah.
PlayStation game.
Yeah, in the PlayStation game, because this I'm like, nah, I'm not down with this. Whereas I used to totally be down with this, but this time I'm just like, it just looks so silly now.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
problem. Oh, go ahead, Tony.
Well, I was just gonna say that's why I'm fine with it, because I realize this was at the time this was like top notch, and this is the best you were gonna get. But yeah, especially now looking back on it, it's easy to say this could have been way better.
Yeah, and maybe part of it's because I know that dopey dipshit Tobey Maguire's underneath it too, and that doesn't help. But
Yeah, my problem's not so much with the costume design. It's more because they haven't figured out that whole thing of, like, Iron Man hasn't come out yet, so that whole, like, view of just his face is like the close up in the costume isn't
So you
the
still
thing
gotta
yet.
take-
So
take his
they got
mask off every
take the
5
mask
seconds.
off. Yeah, all the
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
time.
Fucking
And I think
hate that shit.
the Spider-Man costume and pajamas are really not that far apart. So I'm okay with it looking like pajamas because
I mean, yeah, but if you're gonna translate something from a comic book, you have to understand that you can't just go for as comic book like as possible because it doesn't work in reality.
well, and that's one thing that I really appreciated in Spider-Man Homecoming, because, like, as we see with Doc Ock, is you can't just take something from the comic book and immediately translate it on film and have it succeed. Like, I mean, okay, the performance succeeds, but like with the fight, where we're like, it's just a guy, problems like that. That's why I liked in Homecoming where they took Vulture and they're like, this is not gonna work. and they
Yeah.
made him something that works in a film. And you see what it
You didn't
what's
want a
that?
90-year-old man in a skin tight green suit.
Yeah, and the
Feathers.
leotard. I want at some point in one of those movies, just for like 5 seconds, maybe just have Patrick Stewart in the leotard with the feather arms
That would be
yell
great.
something,
That would
just
be
run
awesome.
by.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like
Anyway.
Michael Keaton, you look at that dude and you're like, oh, yeah, I don't want to fight him just because he's scary. I don't.
Yeah, you somehow identify with the villain, but are completely terrified of him at the same
Yeah.
time, and you're just like, this guy's a kind of cool guy. But anyway,
I will
Let's
also
go.
just quickly throw in though, you guys talked about it looking like pajamas. Part of my problem is that it doesn't, and
Mhm.
every once in a while there'll be that little voice in the back of my head that says he's supposed to have sewn this himself.
mhm,
Like that's not something you could just make at home.
yeah,
Yeah,
Well, some people maybe, but like fucking Tobey Maguire and his sad
Yeah,
little
not him.
apartment isn't doing
not
that
him.
shit.
It's hard to sew through tears.
Also, I like how in the middle of this fight, there is a point where Spider-Man swings by, and they just push two attractive women into the sides
Yep.
of the frame
Yes.
at
Yes.
boob level,
Yep.
just cause.
Hey guys,
You're-
remember
you're like-
boobs?
You're like, really, movie?
Sure, yeah, why
Also, can I just say, is that going to be like the title of Rob's autobiography? It's
What?
hard to sew through tears.
Yes, pretty much.
All right,
With
so
all the sewing I do.
You can't
Now-
cause the tears.
we got to cut to the science ball, and we cut to Harry just being just the goddamn worst. He's drunk. He's cranky. He's at this ball just being a pisser. And
It's
what's
the-
that?
It's a big fight, Joe.
He's
Mhm.
also like a cowboy toy like Woody, where you just pull his string and he says the same catchphrase like, "How about what are you doing with your friend Spider-Man? What are you doing with your friend
Yeah.
Spider-Man? Where's your friend Spider-Man?"
Doesn't he slap him
Mhm.
a couple times here?
Get ready for the
He
big, big fight.
Yeah.
fight. In this corner. Peter,
Yeah.
Droopy Dog, Parker. In this corner, Harry, Slap Happy Osborne.
And again, like Peter's just he's not even a good liar. Just say like, be like, yo, Spider-Man needs money, and I give him like $20 to take his picture, and he trusts that I don't fucking like try to unmask him or whatever.
Yeah, don't
That's
slap
it.
me for doing
That's
a
all.
job.
Yeah, that. And by the way, I need a lot of money too, Mr. Billionaire. Well,
But you don't even need to go that far, because you could be like, "Hey, you're pissed at me because I take Spider-Man's picture. I take his picture to put on those newspapers that are calling him a villain every fucking day. I'm on
Yeah.
your side, dude.
yeah.
Shut up."
Or just say like, oh, I can't make it to anything because I have to take Spider-Man's fucking picture, which
Yeah.
involves me waiting on top of a building for hours
Yeah, what the hell is that? So he
to
goes.
get paid.
Peter Parker goes and sets up crimes to happen so he can be there to take pictures of Spider-Man.
He's a supervillain.
So,
The
all right,
photographer.
so this whole movie is just a compilation of sad scenes, but this scene gets real sad real
It's
fast.
so silly.
So,
It's
all right,
so-
MJ walks in around the arm of astronaut Captain John Jameson. Peter goes to talk to her, and he's like, "I read poetry. Here is poetry."
Let me cry it at you. Is
Very
it cool if I jerk off while I do this?
Yeah.
She's just like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
What a sack of shit.
Yeah, like it's
Hey.
just the worst.
Yeah. Hey, remember when I first started dating this guy and I showed up at your birthday party and I was like leaning in for a kiss? That was your shot, dude.
Yeah,
Fuck you. He's
That-
right there. We're about to get engaged. You lost it.
Yeah, like,
And then-
well, it's just the most angsty shit.
then like this is interspersed with Jameson yelling at him, and then Harry comes over when MJ's done. MJ's not really even putting him down. He's just failing so hard.
Well, she's
Like,
just
when-
being honest. She's like,
Yeah,
"All right,
exactly.
You didn't come to my play. You tell me you don't want to be around me.
Mm.
You ignore my phone calls. You don't ever talk. You don't respond. You're never there on time. Like
God-
I've given you chance after chance, and now you're crying poetry at me. Look, I'm with this guy. He's
Yeah.
done nothing wrong this whole movie. He's been nothing but a good person this whole time.
He
I'm
went to
with him.
space.
He went to space. He's gonna get me my drink. How about
Yeah.
you go get your face slapped by this dickweed over here?
And again, it's his party. He's right there.
Yeah. And then Harry Osborn's just like, someone mentioned slap face.
Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna go get with this guy before he turns into a werewolf.
Yeah.
Time
Fucking-
for slaps giving.
yeah. And then he basically just listens to like a totally disenfranchised James Franco berate and slap him. And then like when that ends, it's because younger Jameson's like, this girl wants to marry me, and like that's it. And like,
First of all, here's another thing.
What?
This proposal happened off camera. Like,
yeah,
this dude has this whole ball happening. He didn't propose like on the mic.
no, she starbucked this dude. Like she was just like, oh, you showed some sign of actually being interested in me. All right, I'm gonna go to someone else and get married right now.
Well, no, two things. One, because we need to have that final punch for Peter. But two, maybe this guy is cool enough or smart enough, however you want to look at it.
Not pull a Michael Scott.
Yeah, to not propose in front of everyone in case she said no.
Yeah.
That's fair. That is fair.
So
He's
It's
a
like
classy
Indian
guy.
Halloween.
so he
Yeah.
goes. Go ahead.
Or whichever. No, you're fine.
All right, so he goes and just falls his way home and crashes. And his fucking powers don't work anymore. So he goes to see Dr. Hippie over here, who can't even
Yeah,
be bothered
that
to
was
put on some
random.
fucking scrubs.
It's a freaking scene from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. It's just,
Mm,
Tony knows what I'm talking about.
so
Actually,
is
you can probably see it on Disney Plus.
I'm sure you can.
so is this guy like this guy's canon or something? Like he's been in the.
I don't know if it's the same character. It's just
Mm.
Spider-Man loses his powers and goes to see a doctor. He's like,
Ah.
I have a cold or something. I don't remember the episode. It's
Mhm.
dumb.
It's dumb, yeah.
So
Can't
Yeah,
get my dick up.
doctor's like, yo, just make a damn choice. You're failing at everything. Choose. Don't half-ass everything. Whole-ass one thing.
Right.
Gives him some Swanson advice and sends him on his way.
Yeah, I officially diagnosed you as being wishy-washy. Figure
Yeah,
the fuck
yeah.
out.
It would have been great if it was like Swansea just gave him a glass of Lagavulin. He's like, here, drink this, man up, pick one thing and do it.
Yo, I really want Spider Swanson.
Trillium glass.
Well,
Could you imagine-
I'm pretty sure that's just Spider Noir, right?
Yeah, could you just imagine him with Spider-Man's powers?
Yes, Nick Cage Spider-Man.
Yeah, he just be like, not only did I fight all the crime, but like I like came over and built you a deck. You know, and I'm like gonna hang off the side of your building and change all your windows.
Somebody's robbing a bank. After I finished my steak, son.
Yeah. And it would make sense because he's just like the law enforcement. That's just government bullshit. Like, I am the law.
I'll be honest, Ron
Yep.
Swanson or just Nick Offerman. If they had
Yeah,
spider power,
either
way,
or.
I'm cool.
But
So-
we get a little moment here with Johnny Cash where he's all like, Uncle Ben, I don't know what to do. It's kind of weird because Uncle Ben's like, don't you want to be Spider-Man no more, boy? You break my heart. He's like, no, I don't think so. Peace out, old man.
Yeah,
Go to bed, old man. And he just pieces out.
it is a weird thing of him being like, this is the ghost of my Uncle Ben. This is, like been my driving force, but I'm just gonna tell him no. Like,
Yeah, like, I know I watched you die, but I gotta get it wet, dude. You know what I'm saying?
So he just gives up. Just
Yep.
takes the Spider-Man costume, sort of throws it out. Practically, he basically litters with the Spider-Man costume.
Well, so here's the thing. That is like exactly a comic book panel
Yep.
that they
Yeah.
recreated for that scene.
Yeah.
cover, I
Uh,
believe, too.
Yeah, it may have been a cover. So that's why it's like just hanging out of the trash can.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I just laid it across the top of a trash can.
So
That is also again where I'm like, why don't you just take that home?
yeah,
yeah, just stick it under your bed, dude. Relax.
just a really low budget John Wick style thing where he has to get the costume back, but instead of smashing his floor out, he has to like just get the box out from under the bed.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that reminds me, there was a scene we passed earlier where he was trying to go to the play, and we have the whole thing about him trying to decide what to wear, and we see his closet pretty much only had the nice suit he was going to wear and the Spider-Man costume. And it's like, which one am I going to wear? Which, first of all, again, sad as hell, because like you have nothing else in there. Second of all,
he was wearing
out,
his other outfit.
yeah, we find out later he was wearing both. Like, why was this a conversation?
So, fucking what? So now we get the Raindrops montage where it's supposed to be how much better his life is now that he's not Spider-Man, but it's still awkward as fuck. Like it's still not going all that great.
He's still Peter Parker.
All right.
Well, the problem is that he's still Tobey Maguire, and you're just like,
yeah.
The more I see of him out of the costume, the more of a douchebag I just think he is.
The camera editing in this scene is also quite weird. What do you guys think? You're eating a hot dog, crime's happening. Hot dog or crime? Stop crime.
Well, so here's the thing. That's a tofu dog, so I would definitely go for the crime.
Oh, someone did the research.
That is a tofu dog?
Tobey Maguire is a vegan.
Of course he is.
So...
That's why he looks so sad.
Yeah, that's why he's all pissy all the time.
Yeah.
That's why his cast members actually paid Flash Thompson to punch him for real. Anybody hear that story?
No.
Yeah, the dude that played Flash Thompson in the first Spider-Man movie said that the cast actually paid him money to punch him in the face for real during the scene where they're like fighting in the high school. Mm-hmm. He didn't take it.
Aw.
Did they specify, was that like just messing around, or did they really just want to see him hurt?
They want to see him hurt. Tobey Maguire is apparently a dick.
Okay.
So, anyway, like, he goes to the play. He sees Mary Jane's play. She fucks up her lines. She's so flabbergasted that he's there.
She soaked the couch she was on.
Yep.
Wow.
But then is immediately like, yo, I'm engaged. Like, go away.
Well, yeah. This is one that has been with me ever since we first saw this movie, and I've quoted it randomly at, well, not random, when it suit the situation, but it's literally, he goes like, do you want to go get Chinese food? And she's like, I'm engaged. And I was just like, so is that a no on the Chinese?
Yeah.
Like, I just asked if you want to get something to eat. What the fuck?
Yeah, really.
I'm not trying to flirt with you, God. Just wanted to know if you wanted Chinese food.
Well, I mean, it turns out he was apparently trying to break up their thing. But yeah, it is like a, I just asked if you want to get something to eat. I didn't propose. Like, calm down.
No. Get Chow Mein is the Netflix and chill of the early 2000s.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of when you, like, say hi to a attractive girl and she's like, I got a boyfriend. Like, no one asked. I'm not hitting on you. I was just being polite. Get out of my face.
This is one of those ones where Batman would just handle this situation. Because Batman, if she was like, I'm engaged, he'd be like, see you later. I'm going to go use this to make me more crazy to go fight crime.
I'm just going to internalize it.
Yeah, let's internalize this whole thing.
Well, no, not exactly internalize it, because that's when he goes, he buys the company that guy works for, gets him fired, blacklists him, just ruins his life.
And one poor man that, like, maybe stole some lady's purse gets his face caved in because this guy's face is superimposed over it.
Some guy who just forgot his keys is trying to jimmy open his door, gets his arm broken.
Well,
a clown that looked vaguely like the Joker.
If this is the Snyder cut, that's definitely happening.
Yeah.
No, he's getting shot.
Oh, right. I forgot.
Now, a garbage man finds the Spider-Man costume. So Jameson, like, buys that off of him, puts it on the wall, prints the headline, Spider-Man gives up, and is really proud of his ability to, like, distort the truth to get people to hate Spider-Man.
Well, as people in those positions tend to be.
All right, so now, this next scene I don't get, where Peter just ignores a guy getting jumped like a douche. And it's like, you don't need to be Spider-Man. Just walk up and sock one of those dudes. Like, it's not... This isn't superhero. This is just like common decency, man.
Well, I mean, I get some of that because, like, as Peter Parker, if he doesn't have his powers, he's probably going to get his ass beat. But he could still call 911 or something.
Yeah.
I'm casually walking by, like, didn't see anything, and then calling 911.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not calling out to the people or anything. I'm not drawing attention to myself.
Yeah, just run
As
across
a
the street or
do-gooder.
Yeah.
something, be like, dude, we need help over here. Somebody.
Yeah.
Some-
I mean, I guess it comes down to how much of his fighting ability is Peter Parker and how much of it is the powers.
yeah.
So it's like, does he just
all
not know how to?
powers.
He just never learned to fight at all. Like he just
Have you
always
seen
relied
him?
on having better reaction time. Because it sure looks like he knows how to fight. But
Well,
either
he might
way.
have some
I think that's
skill,
all the
but I
spider
don't know.
sense.
yep.
Hmm.
Well, no,
Okay.
he must have some ability by this point.
So
Flash would still kick his ass.
yeah. All right. So what the hell did I just write?
Guy getting jumped.
Yeah, he goes to Aunt May's house and yeah, that's right. They were at the graveyard. That's what they were talking, at Uncle Ben's grave. And then Aunt May's like, "Oh, I should have let you take the subway and not have Uncle Ben drop you off that day." And Peter's like, "Dropping this shit on you right now."
Yeah, let me ruin your life real quick.
Yeah, let
Real
me just
quick.
destroy your idea of me forever.
Just, it's a free for all of facts. He just tells her the whole fucking story. Like, I could have stopped Uncle Ben's death, and I chose not to.
I love the Aunt May storyline from the video game. It's kind of a spoiler. Do you guys care?
Go. That's fine. I don't think I'm ever
So-
gonna play it.
So she dies at the end,
Mhm.
and in the hospital bed, she's like, "Oh, Peter, I always knew you were Spider-Man." Isn't that right, Rob? Am I remembering that right?
I think so.
All right.
It's been a while.
I'm pretty sure.
I honestly really like the fact that now in the MCU that Aunt May just knows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's not that like stupid like constant. Oh, I gotta hide it from Aunt May.
Well,
Mhm.
okay, let's be
Well,
honest.
now everybody knows.
Well,
Mhm.
but let's be
Maybe.
honest. In this movie, it's heavily implied she's on to it too. So
Mm,
Mhm. So, either way,
Maybe.
She doesn't even know what day it is.
yeah.
well, yeah. As
Yeah.
much as she's aware of anything.
Those knowing looks could just be her heart medication.
So he spills the beans to her. She's just like, "I'm out of here." Just goes upstairs.
Imagine if she just started like windmill punching him.
Yeah. Just
That's
with
what,
what starts as a low moan and just builds up to a full furious scream.
that's what I
She's like-
pictured in my head.
I'm the new bone saw now.
It's like that one scene from It where the old lady just goes crazy, flips the table, starts punching him in the face.
So, now Doc Ock, he's like, "I'm done making my fusion reactor in the shady ass pier that any passerby can just walk by and see." So he's like, "I just need to go get some tritium. So I'll
Which-
go." What's that?
If I could also just throw in here, it was at this point where it really hit me how dumb this was, because he robbed a bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he needed money
Yep.
to build this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't steal the parts, but he could steal money and then just go to Home Depot and pick what the fuck?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All those custom fabricated parts. I guess he could just order them from the person he got them from the first time.
It's where doers get things done.
Yeah. Or there's some poor delivery guy who had to drive down to the docks and all right, I'm looking for a guy with 4 mechanical arms.
He could have just waited for his Capri Sun royalty checks to roll in.
So, fucking, we cut to Harry, who's just in his room obsessing about Spider-Man, and his assistant's like, "Yeah, you don't care about anything else, so I'm just gonna call you trash and leave."
His assistant, played by Bill Paxton's father.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that. But yeah, great performance here though. Just oh, sir, you gotta stop being so weird. Bye.
I mean, your father was weird too, but Jesus Christ, man.
Like, I mean, what are you supposed to say in that scenario? It's just like, "All right, keep being weird, boss. I'm out."
Call me when you're done being a little bitch. Bye.
Your father was a very odd man, but that's because he looked like that, and he was
Yeah.
described as being weirdly huge, if you know what I mean. So
Son, relax.
Had a
You're
Green
handsome.
Goblin down there.
He
so
didn't
maybe you
need
should
a-
just chill.
Son, you don't need a dick stand-in to make your penis normal size.
So at this point, the movie's like, it's 2004. It's only like 12 years from Jurassic Park. You want to do the loud stomps in the suspense from it. And as Doc Ock walks his way up the building, grabs Harry, dangles him over the edge.
Would that even make that kind of sound?
I don't know what those would do.
I think it would. My bigger thing is like that's probably a good 10 minutes that we could have gotten back.
Yeah.
Because it's not just a like, oh, we feel the shaking. It's a we gotta do each step, then wait a beat, and then another hit, and it's like, no, he would be going up a lot faster.
Well, I would think if they were hitting that loud to be making that much noise, like the ground pressure they'd be putting out would either be like throwing Doc Ock all over the place or just smashing holes in the ground. But I don't know for sure. Minor details. They can have the Jurassic Park ripoff. So he grabs Harry, dangles him over the edge, is like, give me the tritium. And like Harry's like, all right, how about this? You put me down, and then I'm gonna make you do a task first. Then I'll give it to you. And Doc Ock's like, okay.
Pulls the old John Marston on him.
Yeah, he's like, wow, I didn't think that was going to work. So he's like, bring me Spider-Man. So Doc Ock's like, how do I find him? And he's like, go bother Peter Parker. I guess I really should be doing this, but I'm not for some reason. So you go do it. And yeah, so Doc Ock goes running off to go presumably accost Peter Parker.
He was like, don't hurt Peter.
We learn now that crime is up 75% because fucking Spider-Man not around. God, the cops are just useless. So now Peter runs into a burning building to save this girl, and we get this scene with some kind of suspect CGI flames that I think there was a little too much going on in this scene that I think it could have been shorter, and like just having a stuntman run through some legitimate flames would have helped a lot.
Yeah.
But either way, like you're like, oh, okay, he saved the girl. He's a hero. And then the fire department's like, yeah, some other dude died on the 4th floor.
Yeah.
And you're like, movie, can just one thing work? Can one thing be okay? And the movie's like, nope.
I had like one of those false memories where I thought that the girl he was rescuing would turn out to be some sort of Doc Ock trap. Because there's a good portion of when the flames are around that it doesn't really seem like he's holding a child.
That's the first movie you're thinking of. when it's just freaking Willem Dafoe in a babushka.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that just didn't make that up out of it anyway.
All right. So now, what you recall it? Peter has another like existential crisis here, which gets interrupted from a visit from the really skinny girl next door who doesn't have shirts that fit properly.
Let's talk about this beanful bitch. All
right. Like, I've been waiting to hear why you're so mad.
Fat chap fell. So
yeah, let's hear it.
This freaking whore breaks into this dude's apartment.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, wait. The views and opinions of Rob do not necessarily reflect those of the 4M.
We're not there to stuff Doritos in his mouth.
Yeah. Okay, continue.
She's like, hey, you want some chocolate cake? He's like, and some milk? He's like, yeah. Cut to these pieces of shit are eating yellow cake with chocolate frosting. That's a misrepresentation of cake. This bitch misrepresented this flavor of cake. Now, I'll grant you, I prefer yellow cake with chocolate frosting over straight chocolate cake. But you do not come into my apartment with your disgusting, filthy mouth and say, do you want chocolate cake, you dumb slore, and then give me yellow cake with chocolate frosting. I will punch you out the window.
All right. I think that'll stand up in court.
I don't have anything to say about that. That's just it's one of the worst things I ever heard.
Tony?
I think that was what could have been a decent complaint and a funny joke wrapped in the worst possible way it could have been delivered.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Doing a bit.
So,
all right, she's been convicted.
I'm sure.
Wait, just to clarify, is the bit to try and get all our listeners to turn us off forever?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been almost 2 hours they've been listening. I mean, it's time, you know.
By the way, folks, just to remind you, he's married.
I am, and I love my wife.
To a
And if
beautiful
she
woman.
Okay,
ever-
in fairness to Sharon, she ain't making that mistake.
No, because if she
Well-
did, I would divorce her on the spot. It would be that
Well,
day.
no, but Sharon would never. Like, it would just wouldn't happen.
No, she would make me make my own cake,
Yeah, exactly.
and she would call me a bitch.
And if you called it chocolate cake, but
Right.
actually gave her
She'd,
yellow cake.
she'd punt you out the window.
She would do moves she likes to call monkey snatches plums, and
Yeah.
Monkey steals the peach.
monkey steals the peach, and I would be sleeping on one of y'all's couches.
It used to be Monkey Snatches Plums. It has progressed to Monkey Steals the Peach. So,
You like she does it enough that she has a name she likes to call it.
yep.
I watched the new Mortal Kombat. They do that a couple times.
Mm.
No.
Yeah, I listened to a dollop about it. So yeah, I was just doing a bit. I think this gal is lovely, and I think Peter should have chosen her over Mary
Yeah.
Jane.
And she looks like Lauren Lapkus.
I mean,
A
yes,
little
you
bit.
keep saying that out of
He-
I assume racism for Jewish people, or just
What? Wait, what?
White people.
How did
white
that?
people.
Okay.
he should have at least fucking tried. He should have at least been like, let me see if there's any other woman out there for me besides
Right.
Mary Jane.
I mean, this gal,
Well.
like, so you legit, like,
Show off his web
all right.
shooters.
even all right, I will say this, even it is a fat chat foul to get the cake wrong, but at the same time, a pretty young thing shows up on my doorstep and offers me cake.
Yeah,
That's like a
Come
marriage
on.
proposal in some countries.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, like that's a dowry right there.
yeah.
And the milk.
I mean, in
Oh,
in,
I'll
Sky,
get
in
that.
Skyrim, if you're wearing an amulet of Mara, you're married right there. Just that was all it took.
Yeah, and if movies have taught me anything, at the very least, he should have been like, maybe there's another way I could pay my rent.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right. We're gonna kill your Sokovian father.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm gonna
Let's
show you
move
my
on.
show you my
Yep.
web shooters. You know what I mean?
Bet you didn't see that coming.
So then when
He
you're like,
kills Peter.
so when you see this scene and you're like, oh, this girl seems nice. Maybe this will go somewhere. It goes to Aunt May's, and you never see that girl again.
Right.
You just led that poor girl on.
Yep.
What
Till the next movie.
Well, he really wanted that cake.
Did you see her again in the
got-
third movie? Like one time, I think.
no. When he's trying to be a dick, he's like, flirty with her and stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's like, make me some cookies, biatch.
You said chocolate chip. These are oatmeal. Get the hell out of
Oh,
my
now there's trouble.
So everything's cool with Aunt May. She's like, I'm glad you told me the truth. That took courage. Blah, blah, blah. You're a hero. I sold your comic books, and I'm going to make fun of those because it's 2004 and they're still not cool yet. And
Comics are for queers, Joe.
yeah,
Also, I really want to know what
in
comic books
2004,
there
yes.
are.
His old ones.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like it's Spider-Man, so what is he reading?
Secret Wars.
Hmm. Oh, what was the
Batman.
one? What was the one from Halloween where it was a spider something? It was like Man Spider or
Oh, that was Man Spider. Yeah.
yeah, I think it was just Man Spider. It's those.
She threw out his collection of Image comics, and she
Mm.
burned all the copies of Wildcats, rightfully so.
So, yeah, she talks a bunch of good shit about Spider-Man, and he's like, "All right, maybe I can, go do my powers now. Maybe everything's all right. Aunt May gave me a good pep talk." Nope. Fucking crashes onto this one car, bounces off, lands on another car. It's like one step below a Meet Joe Black in like people crashing into cars style nastiness, and he's just like, "Oh, that sucks," and walks away. Like, I guess his super durability still works.
But you get to see angry Maguire face, which is pretty priceless.
Mm-hmm. And then you cut to MJ doing her wedding invitations with Captain Jameson here, who, again, is just a decent dude. He's like, well, you should invite Peter. And she's like, no, I hate him. Here, lie down so I could kiss you upside down style, because I got to know that you might be Spider-Man. So I got to rule you out.
I tell that to Sharon all the time. Let me kiss you upside down style.
So
Like, I started dating you because I thought you were Cyclops.
I'm going to
trying
say
find
that
out
to
if
my
you're
girl now.
Spider-Man. No.
Well, to be fair, he does turn out to be Cyclops.
Yeah.
Cuck!
So fucking Peter goes to meet MJ at a cafe, and he's like, "I don't love you. I don't like you. Get out of here." And she's like, "Just give me a kiss. That's all I want. Just one kiss."
It just sucked my face for a while.
Yeah,
I kissed that other guy like a freaking bottom feeder fish.
Yeah.
Let me go at you for a while.
All right, now, what was? I understand this is a cool shot, but you can't just put a cool shot in there without some sort of reason for why it is here.
No,
What
Joe,
was Doc
let me
Ock's-
explain. Let me explain this to you, okay? I'm
Okay.
gonna try and break it down so even someone like you can understand, okay?
It's
So,
not going to work, but
you need
continue.
you need to get information from someone, okay?
Uh-huh.
About the whereabouts of
Yeah.
someone else.
Yep.
So you throw a car at them.
Yeah, that's how
What
you
part
begin
aren't you
the dialogue.
understanding? What part aren't you understanding, Joe? You
What
throw a
he
car
just-
at them.
Just fucking splats him on the floor and was like, "Damn it." You know,
He'll be like,
that was my only
"Where's
lead.
Spider-Man? Give me the idol. I'll throw you the whip."
So, yeah, what was his plan? Like, you just throw cars at people? Then,
Well, spoiler alert, that's how this whole thing goes, because the ending of the scene is him tossing him into a brick wall so hard it crumbles on top of him, which if he wasn't Spider-Man would have killed him immediately.
yeah, that wall dumped another building's worth of building materials on top of him.
Yes.
He's a little extra. That's all. He's just a little extra.
It was like one of those XCOM buildings where you miss a shot with a gun and the whole side of a building falls down. Like one of those. So, all right. Now, he essentially just murders Peter because he's like, go get Spider-Man. And by the way, I'm betting you into a wall. So, I guess do that after you get out of the hospital.
Yeah, like in 3 months when you relearn how to walk and talk, get Spider-Man for me.
Also, I'm taking this girl because apparently that's what everybody does.
Well, I mean, have you seen her? She's not wearing a bra
mean,
in like any
yeah.
of these movies.
Snatch that shit
That's
up.
why you want her?
It's
So
pretty
Peter-
cold, apparently.
He hulks out. He's like, "Oh, I got the powers now." Going back to J. Jonah Jameson's office, who is now like possibly feeling regret that he's like, "Oh, look at this! Look how much crime has gone up. Maybe Spider-Man was good for the city." And then Spider-Man now, who suddenly can just fucking stealth steal the entire suit. I guess he has to be naked to be good at stealth. I don't know. Just Batman's the suit out of there, and now Jameson's like, "Fuck him! He stole my suit. He's
I do-
trash."
I do like the look on J.K. Simmons' face when he's like, "Yeah, Spider-Man is great." He's like, you
Yeah.
can see his eye roll and like,
So he goes to meet Doc Ock at the predetermined place to have a fracas. Doc Ock was like, "I don't know, on top of this tower, 3:00. It's 3:00 high all of a sudden. We'll have our battle." So Spider-Man shows up and they start fighting. And the fight's kind of cool for a little bit. Other than Spider-Man did enter the battle swinging on nothing. He was
That's the
swinging
whole-
above
this
all the
whole-
buildings.
the whole Raimi series is he's just swinging on nothing. That's
Yep.
kind of like you gotta. I noticed that too, and I'm like, I gotta just let it go.
Oh,
because-
yeah,
Yeah.
let's not put that all on Raimi. Spider-Man's been swinging on nothing
Yep.
for years.
That's not true. Well, maybe.
And
but,
I
like,
will continue to call it out every time.
Oh, that's fine.
in the game, in the video game, in the PS4 game at least. I don't know about in the Spider-Man 2 video. Yeah, even I think in the Spider-Man 2 video game, I feel like, but definitely in the recent video games, like there has to be something for him to connect to.
In the PS1 game, you're just on top of the buildings and
Is
Oh,
it?
yes.
Is it in the PS1? Is it just anywhere? Is it
Yeah,
PS1
there's
or
no-
PS2?
PS1, I think.
I'm
Is
just
it a
saying.
movie tie-in game.
No,
I'm just saying it's these movies that were pretty much the transition from the, you could just swing regardless to, hey, maybe there should be something visibly there you could be swinging from. So,
You know what I'd like to see in Spider-Man 3? I'd like to see a scene where he gets another gift from Tony Stark from, beyond the grave of like a video of Tony Stark being like, "Hey, I made you these two Iron Man-like robots that hover above everything and have active camouflage so no one ever sees them." And then he looks right at the camera. So he's like, "So you don't have to worry about what you're going to attach your webs to when you swing around."
But
Yep.
actually, that is funny in Homecoming, where he's like in the
Yep.
middle of just this rural area. He just shoots his web out into the distance. And like, okay,
I just have to
There's
run
nothing
across
here.
this field.
Oh, which, by the way, depending on how you want to look at it, that's exactly what he got in Homecoming, or not Homecoming, Far From Home.
Yeah, he got that whole satellite with all the different drones that he
Yeah.
could do that from.
Launch
Yep.
2 of those invisible drones and just swing at them. Like,
Yeah.
there you go.
We're good.
but all we want is
Alright.
to see Tom Holland actually in New York doing stuff in New York.
So this fight starts cool, and I was enjoying it till the train.
So the train.
And the train,
We know.
it was 17 years since I've seen this movie.
All right, Joe, I'm
And-
just going to say right now, I want you to tell us why you don't like it, but also realize we've been talking for like two hours.
Yeah, show us.
I
show
have
us
a
on the
lot
doll.
to say about
Show us on the
this
doll
movie.
what happened.
The wounds are still there. Okay. And that, fuck. He just, first off, before we get to the bullshit with the brakes, there is a point where Otto Octavius, or Doc Ock, grabs Spider-Man with his claw, throws him behind his shoulder through a bridge that Spider-Man deftly finagles and maneuvers himself to come back and kick Dr. Octopus in this face. When it's like there's no way they can move relative to each other for that to possibly happen unless he threw him all the way around the world to do that. But besides that, long story short, they have a fight on the train. Dr. Octopus makes a sleazy face and takes the accelerator, puts it to max, steals the accelerator. Oh no, the train can't stop. And I've said it I've already gone over it with Speed. Just pull the fucking emergency handle. And I'm somewhat concerned that there are people out there who actually might not realize that you can do that to stop a subway if it ever comes up. Because it will stop a subway. It's in every car. They've thought of this. Subways, don't just run out of control and crash. So Spider-Man didn't need to do any of this. But still, he gets in the front of the train and he kicks his little legs out and kicks all the fucking wooden poles, wooden posts, which would immediately rip his legs off. But he's Spider-Man, so okay. So it would still rip the rails out and cause the train to derail. Whatever.
Yep.
Skipping all that, he fucking shoots his webs out, gets in his best Jesus pose, and
I don't
attaches
know if
his
I call it
webs.
his best Jesus pose, but all right.
Okay, that was not a good Jesus pose. You're right. But
Maybe
yeah.
a Zack Snyder Jesus pose.
yeah, he gets in a Zack Snyder Jesus pose and attaches his webs to two buildings. I don't know what would withstand a fucking locomotive. Well, not a locomotive, but a subway train rolling along. But he attaches it to him, and he brings the car to a stop. Now, ignoring the fact that he would just rip the top off the subway and kill everyone in it.
He didn't really bring it to a stop. It still crashed into the barrier.
But nothing has stopped the accelerator.
Right.
So why did the train stop? It's
So-
still on.
Playing devil's advocate here, saying that Doc Ock somehow disengaged the emergency brakes even.
Mhm.
Could he have not just disconnected the cars?
Yes.
And that would have severely limited the weight behind the momentum of the.
That will also get to one of my points, which is fuck all these people that are just standing there watching all this shit.
Talking
Nobody's
shit.
moving to the back of the train. Nobody's even sitting down or bracing for impact.
Right,
what the hell's wrong with you?
Make all the people get to the last train car and just disconnect it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Then try to stop that.
but
Yeah.
superhero movie.
Yeah.
All right. So this scene, it hurts
No,
because
I
I'm
get
like,
it.
it's just, it didn't. Not only did it not add anything, it added zero suspense because it's one of those things where you're like, there are so many ways he could have stopped this that are better than what he did, and what he did doesn't make a lick of goddamn sense.
Now, Joe, how do you feel about the scene in Homecoming where it's pretty similar?
Which one? Because
So,
I'm not familiar with. I've
on
seen
the-
it, but I don't remember.
On the boat
Mm-hmm.
where the Chitauri weapon goes berserk and cuts the entire boat in half when he's on the ferry. So he's got to web up the whole ferry to hold it together. He's doing kind of a similar thing.
I don't fully remember.
Okay.
But I mean
granted,
that one
he
was he
actually
just
fails at that, but
yeah. wasn't he also just fighting the forces of gravity and not a fucking locomotive?
Yeah, yes, he's
Yes.
just fighting gravity. I mean, he's
Okay.
fighting gravity and water. Like,
Yeah. So I don't remember that scene enough, so it didn't emotionally scar me like this one.
okay, all right. Just curious.
Yeah. So now he gets in his best Jesus pose, which is still not a very good Jesus pose. After he stops the train and everybody has to carry him to the back of the train.
Another quick aside.
What's that?
Is that Phil Lamar?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was just making sure because it looked like
Oh,
Phil
wow.
Lamar, and I was like, "Is that Phil
Yep.
Lamar?"
So
That was definitely Phil Lamar.
he's whatchamacallit, he's not wearing his mask because he took that off just because he's got to make goofy faces while he stops the train.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we needed memes, so
Yeah. And then some kids give him his mask back, and the only part of this I liked is they're like, "It's okay, your secret's safe. You know, I know you're Hannah Montana. Put the mask back on." And then Doc Ock shows up, and he's like, "Give me Spider-Man," and everyone's like, "You're gonna have to go through all of us." And he's like, "All right," and just pushes everyone aside.
yeah.
It totally killed that lady and her baby.
Yeah.
And they're all getting
He's dead.
pushed up against the
I
side,
do like that.
thrown
but
out of the window.
I do like that. So that was a little redeeming, but I do still call bullshit on not one of those people is selling this motherfucker out.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't care how thankful you are. At least one of those people is like, "That's $1 million."
I mean,
Yeah,
what
your
are they gonna
secret's
do?
safe
Post-
with me, but J. Jonah Jameson's offering a lot of money.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. They're gonna post it on their live journal.
No, they're gonna
So-
sell it to JJ.
Yeah. All right. So Doc Ock basically takes Spider-Man, wraps him up in some barbed wire, delivers him to Harry. Harry gives him the tritium. He's out of there. Harry picks up a dagger, which plays the unsheathing the dagger sound, which gave me a little bit of a laugh. And then the same unsheathing the dagger sound plays as he actually does unsheath it. And
That's some
he's gonna.
rich people. That's some rich people shit. Just having a dagger like that out on display.
Yeah. Well,
The letter
and
opener.
really, where's his corporate pistol? That's his office. He should have one.
Is that
Oh,
in
he
case
has-
the FBI come in to
Mhm.
raid you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he,
Got one bullet
he
in it.
has a corporate pistol, Joe, but he wanted this to be a bit more personal.
That's true. He did. Yeah. Yeah.
He's gonna
And
stab
he
him in the dick, just like happened to his daddy.
takes Peter's mask off, goes to stab him, sees that it's Peter, flips out like, "I am so fucking stupid. How did I not notice this the entire goddamn time?"
Which is accurate.
And yeah, just incapacitated by his own revelation of his stupidity.
How did
Peter-
I not know the 5'6" superhero was the 5'6" friend I have?
Peter's like, "Barbed wire ain't shit. Just muscles out of that." And Harry's still with the same shit. He's like, "You killed my dad," and Peter's like, "Yo, Harry, situation's a little bigger than the two of us. You fucking gave him like all the tritium in the world. He's gonna destroy the city. Where's he going?"
Well,
And-
again, though, good time to at least take a moment and go, "No, I didn't."
Yeah. Maybe you're like, "Hey, we'll talk about this later," but I guess not. All right, so Doc Ock, meanwhile, he's back at the Shanty Pier, fires up his fusion reactor. It's just as stupid this time as it was before. Surprise, surprise, it doesn't work. But at least, he had schizophrenic arms lying to him the whole time. Spider-Man, again, sucks at stealth, is just like talking to MJ at the, volume that I'm talking to you guys right now. And, gets immediately caught out by Doc Ock. They have a bit of a fight. I can't read what I wrote in this note here. But long story short, he gets Doc Ock to electrocute himself again. And at this point, magnets have not completely crashed down the Shanty Pier, but they are pulling cars down the street towards this place.
Yeah. Now, is this solely like it has a magnetic field? That's the whole. That's the whole thing of it.
I guess.
What do you mean?
Well, because I was just wondering, because like Joe said, we see it's pulling cars that are like down the street towards it, but like the guys are standing next to it like there's no big thing.
Well, it's got the power of the sun and the bold taste of tritium.
No,
Yeah.
I got, I got that.
It's we're
It's
not
got all the
playing with
vitamins.
any kind
I'm
of
just
logic
saying,
here.
basically, is this sucking just everything in, or is it solely, has a
Oh,
magnetic field that it's
It's
What's
just
sucking
sucking.
everything?
Yeah, it's sucking.
fair?
So
All right.
all right, the arms basically now Doc Ock's got some power over the arms. Peter just fucking talks to him like he should have done in the beginning and is like, "Yo, your science sucks. You've got this gift of intelligence that you're fucking squandering right here doing this dumbass shit. Tell me how to stop this." And and then he's like, I learned one thing from this movie. You got to give up the thing you love the most in your life just cuz. And I know how much you love this fusion reactor. So he's like, fuck it, I'm drowning it in the river. And so one reason why I get so mad when science is so egregiously misrepresented is not only do they usually fail at how it works, but they fail at the cool things that are it has the potential to do. Like if you threw this thing in the East River, the explosion that it would have made as like it turns a huge quantity of water into steam on immediate contact with it. It would be like, here's a good reason to have an awesome explosion, which you don't have. So the river doesn't even seem to turn the fusion reactor off, actually, because you still see it's going in the water,
it's just
which
chilling
isn't
there.
boiling or anything.
It just lives there now.
Yeah.
I
Um,
I thought about that, and I think if you really are paying attention, it's hard to tell because it's going down and further away, but it is actually shrinking.
Okay, I'll give you that. But Doc Ock goes down with it. He goes down with his ship. He dies a hero, I guess. I don't know.
Something.
He
died.
tries to redeem himself. MJ sees that Peter's Spider-Man. He saves her from some questionable CGI. And then they swing away on what appears to be nothing. Turns out is a crane, but the shot looks terrible though as they're swinging towards the camera on apparently nothing. And
this
they go
is
and
also another one that bugged me though, because
Mhm.
she sees it's him and like, oh my god, how did I not see? And then like the wall starts to collapse and he runs over and grabs it. And I guess the idea is she's pinned down by some beam or something, but they're having this whole conversation. And he's like,
Yeah.
If we're gonna die, I want you to know I love you. And I was expecting him to go like, MJ, can you fucking move? Like, get out of the way.
Yeah,
This
like,
is heavy.
yeah, he says this is heavy, but like, she's not moving. It's like,
Yeah.
this is heavy.
Yeah,
Leave.
yeah.
Get out.
crazy.
Yeah, just having this whole moment of like, you really do love me, and I'm thinking he's like, can we talk about this later? Because I'm, it's just crushing my spine.
I've already pooped my pants. Please move.
Yeah.
So, they go and they chill on a web made of penguin parts, as Rob was hypothesizing before. And
That's only the web shooter version. This is all him. This is the jizz.
Yep. It's on Peter Jizz.
This is full semen.
Yeah. And she's just like, yo, like, I still want you. And he's like, hell no. I've all these enemies that are going to go after you. They already do. But like,
Yeah,
I
even
can't
though
have
they
them
do
doing
anyway.
it more. So he lowers her down to, John Jameson, who shows up on the scene to, receive his Cyclops role. And none of the cops look up, I guess, to see Peter Parker. And he just heads off without his mask. Or he puts it on now, then heads off. And it cuts to Harry, who gets a visit from a William Dafoe ghost, who totally justified throwing a dagger through a mirror in an attempt to kill a William Dafoe ghost.
Yeah.
We've all been there before.
Yeah.
His happened to lead to a secret armory full of Green Goblin stuff.
Like you did.
Yep. And he's gonna be a bad guy.
He's just gonna be a bad character, really.
He's just gonna be a
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Cut to MJ's wedding. Who the hell has black bridesmaid dresses? Like,
I think they were
Yeah.
navy. I think they were navy blue, but yes.
are we sure? I don't know. Like,
I'm
I didn't.
pretty sure.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
I hope they were, because like, who does that?
I was also kind of wondering, like, why when she's getting ready, it's Mrs. Jameson there. It's like, where the hell
Yeah.
is your mom?
Yeah. Well, also she's in a completely different outfit in the
Mm.
when she's sitting down next to her husband. So there's that.
Mm,
We did have some changes,
all right, so she's like, "Fuck it, I'm out of here. Screw this nice astronaut man. I'm gonna go run off and find Peter." And Peter's like, no, I can't, MJ. You'll be in danger. She's like, fuck you. Like, let me make a choice for once.
Well,
Because
she's also
apparently
like,
it took you the whole movie to do it and you fucked it up.
Yeah.
she's also like,
And I
I
need-
can't survive without you. And I'm like, wait, you've been fine without him this whole time.
Yeah. Whenever you're around him, you tend to get in danger, actually.
But also, like, it's movie number 2. I need some of my own agency here, all right? Let me make a decision for once.
All right. And then, like, you hear the police sirens, so she's like, all right, go take care of that. They obviously don't have it because there's police sirens.
No. She
What?
says, go get him, Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time in the movies that Mary Jane is called Peter Parker Tiger.
Is that a thing?
It's a
Yeah.
big thing from the comics, yeah.
I did not
That's
know
like
that.
her. It's like her pet name for him.
Okay.
Of course, he's Spider-Man, so
Sexy.
obviously his pet name would be Tiger.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
So he goes out
It's
the
so
window, and MJ looks at the camera like, I've made a
so
terrible
freaking
mistake.
depressed. Yeah, like so upset.
Well, that's probably the first time she really, like, took in the apartment. Like,
Well,
oh, God.
but that's been her default face for this whole friggin' movie, like just half drugged and upset. And then friggin' Dashboard Confessional starts playing. And then the rest of the audience is half drugged and upset.
Yeah, and he CGI's away on, swinging away on his webs. And-
yeah.
We get some bad emo during the credits, and that's it. Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Fucking highest rated Spider-Man movie. Fuck.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry to steal your thunder, Tony.
All right.
All right. So, Tony, Spider-Man 2.
So, yeah, RottenTomatoes.com. Critics gave this a score of 93%. Audience gave this a score of 82%. And for a lot of people, this is their favorite of at least the original Spider-Man trilogy. I don't know, whatever with the new stuff, but that's their thoughts and opinions. What about you and yours, Joe?
I think I made it clear already.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's my thing with this movie and why like it makes me feel like there's something wrong with me. Because I'm like, I didn't see anything redeemable about this film. Like, it's just sad all the time. Like, Peter Parker's life sucks. He doesn't really come to a great resolution. Like, he does in the end get the girl, but all of the problems that were inherent with doing that still seem to be there and seem like they're going to be huge problems. And just, I can't abide by people like just writing that lazy when it comes to science stuff. I know it's not a big deal to most people. It's a comic book. You're supposed to
Neil
go
deGrasse
past
Tyson
it,
does it
but-
all the time.
But like, I can't. And I think it hurts more with this movie because all the parts of a good movie are here. And the performances by the actors are actually, quite good. Like Alfred Molina was amazing as Doc Ock. But it's like what you call it, Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirate sequels. It's a great character, but a great character can't withstand writing of that awfulness. And I didn't like anything about this film. Like, I just didn't like it. And I have to see it first, but I'd almost say that I would rather watch the third one. And the third one, the third one, only because the third one, they're like, right in the beginning, they're like, we fucked this up. Here you go. This one is kind of like everything about this movie should have worked, but none of it does. And I think that's why it hurts to me. And why I'm so disappointed in it. That being said, it's 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm sure I'm the only one at the table that's not going to like it. I don't get it. It makes me feel weird thinking about it. I was really
We still
disappointed.
love you.
I love you too, Will.
It's okay, man.
All right, I'm gonna go cry now.
All right, well, so while we're at it, let's
Obviously,
go
I
to-
didn't recommend.
Yeah, yes, so while we're at it, though, let's go to the less known viewpoint on this right now. Will.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that for a long time pre-MCU, this was known as one of the better superhero movies, and obviously with that rating, it's still held in high regard. But if this was part of the MCU, I don't think it would even break the top 2/3. I think the Molina performance would keep it like out of the bottom. But some of the other performances are just a little too weak for me, and so much of the movie is just Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire being really sad. And after seeing that, and it's going to be 6 different movies by the time the newest one comes out, like it's just not really how I want to spend 90 minutes of my, or 2 hours of my time. But with all that said, it's definitely of its time. If you're a superhero fan, I don't know why you wouldn't have already seen this just in your viewing of movies. But if you've not, I would recommend watching like this original Raimi trilogy, just because it is kind of shows you where the Marvel movies were at before we got the MCU. And I did notice that Feige was a producer on this one, so it's kind of interesting. And Rob's favorite guy, Avi Avad, right?
He was in that lineup.
The Devil.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say, I don't know. It's one of those ones where I think if you're into superheroes, you should see it. But I'm not gonna say if you only have to choose one superhero movie to watch on a Saturday night and you've got 2.5 hours, I'm not going to recommend Spider-Man 2. I might recommend Captain America and the Winter Soldier, something like that. But yeah, so I don't hate it like as much as Joe, but also I'm not, didn't make me fall in love with it all over again.
You would not recommend it then?
I guess I'll say I would recommend it, but it's not my favorite superhero movie.
Good. Rob.
It's not going straight in the trash can.
So when I first saw this movie, pretty much all we had to go on was, when did Daredevil come out?
03, I think.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay, so that was already out by then. All right, so like when this first came out, it was slim pickings as far as like superhero movies were concerned. So I really enjoyed it the first time I saw it. Seeing it now, I am painfully aware of all of its shortcomings. Like Joe is absolutely right. This is like 90% of this movie is just Tobey Maguire being a weepy little bitch. And it's not it's not enjoyable. That said, if you're looking at it in a vacuum, I still feel this is the strongest out of the three Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. And I've only seen the first Amazing Spider-Man movie. So there's 8 Spider-Man movies now, if you include Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah. So I would say that Into the Spider-Verse and the 2 Holland movies are like my top 3. This one would probably be my number 4 on the list of complete all the good all the Spider-Man movies ranked.
It would be what, number 4?
Number 4, yeah. Like 4 out of 8. I've never seen Amazing Spider-Man 2. I hear it's terrible.
Sorry, what would the top 3 be? The 2 Hollands so far, and what would be the third?
The 2 Hollands and Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah. Yeah, of course.
I liked Into this, we haven't done Into the Spider-Verse. It's on our list, but I liked it a lot. But at the same time, it was like there was a lot going on all at once, so I found it a little hard to focus sometimes. The soundtrack's amazing, but we're not talking about that. But this would be number 4 on that list. This would be just under, because I can, kind of ignore the obvious scientific nonsense because, it is just it's at the end of the day, it is a comic book movie. And I like Dr. Octopus. I like Alfred Molina's portrayal of the character. I like that although Harry Osborn is in this, he's not whatever he is in the 3rd Spider-Man movie. So I'm going to give this the lightest of recommends. But the main point I'm trying to make is that I used to hold this in a much higher esteem than I do now. It's definitely fallen on my list of just enjoyability in general. I see much more of the shortcomings of this film than I used to. And for that, I will say, the action, I still enjoy. The CGI still holds up for the most part. It's got some good, web swinging scenes. So just in a vacuum of Spider-Man movies, I will put it as a light recommend.
Okay.
Can I make one quick amendment? Because I did say something that was false. Into the Spider-Verse is the highest rated of the Spider-Man movies That one's at 97%. I thought this was the highest one.
Okay.
All right, Tony, tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo a little bit of what Rob was talking about, because yeah, at the time this was really good for what it was. Because superhero movies still weren't much of a thing. They were, kind of just seen as kiddie shit and whatever, and not given a whole lot of their due until Spider-Man came along. I personally never liked this as much as the first one, I think. Because Alfred Molina was a great choice to play Doc Ock, and so if he gets a chance again with this new thing, that's cool. I'm totally for that. But yeah, the story isn't that great. I don't like we keep getting into that shit with the love triangle nonsense and the whole thing with Harry Osborn. It's just kind of dumb, and ultimately we know it doesn't lead to a whole lot either. That's a problem for the third movie we'll deal with. But yeah, and I kind of want to give it a light recommend. I think similar on Rob's list again, except for me, this might be number 5. Under the first Spider-Man. I think it's a better adaptation of the original comic and like the Sunday newspaper comic Spider-Man, but that there's a reason we don't really go back to that anymore. It's a great place where it started, and I give it credit for that, but now we do have better things. We have the Hollow Ones, which are better, and we have Into Spider-Verse, which is way better. It's a better Spider-Man movie, even though most of it is not focused on Peter Parker Spider-Man, which is kind of sad in a way, but still, it's an awesome movie. So I'm torn. I guess I'll give it a light recommend. It's certainly not something you need to turn off. I don't think it's that terrible, unless you're like Joe and you can't accept any of that crazy science nonsense, which I do understand, but at the same time, it's you're accepting that this guy got bit by a spider and it didn't kill him, but instead gave him superpowers. You're already giving them some leniency on that stuff, so cool. Yeah, so it was really good for the time. Yeah, it's good for the time, but we do have so much better now. So, like, if you're trying to go for all the stuff, or if you're desperate for more things to watch, it's not so bad. But if you haven't seen the Hollands, especially if you haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, go see that, because that is probably the best representation to Spider-Man on film so far. So, yeah.
Think so?
Yeah.
I think it might be.
I like that one is focused on the mythology of Spider-Man as opposed to Peter Parker. And I like how it's like...
Guess so.
In the telling of the same character from all the different angles. Like, I literally, other than the soundtrack, I think it's a perfect movie. And the soundtrack fits what the movie is. I just don't like it.
Oh, you don't like the soundtrack?
No.
That's
but,
funny
like,
because...
that's strictly personal taste, though.
Because
it totally belongs there.
After I finished watching this movie,
yeah.
I went and listened to the Spider-Verse soundtrack. Because I wanted to cleanse myself of the Dashboard Confessional.
Fair enough.
So I remember going to the theater and seeing Spider-Man 3 with my dad and being really excited about it. And when Peter Parker's doing his really dumb dance under my dad's breath, I heard him say, "What the fuck?"
I will say, though, watching this again does give me more appreciation for that movie, because, like, yeah, everybody mocks that dance, and for a good reason. It's really stupid. But at the same time, you could see the seeds of it in this movie, because you have that whole raindrops falling on my head scene, which is kind of similar.
Straight up, I'm going to tell you, I think Tobey Maguire is a terrible Peter Parker.
Okay.
I absolutely hate him as Peter Parker. Like, I think he's just a weepy, sad mess, and I don't think Peter Parker should be. I think,
as Yoda would say, too old.
Yeah, yes. Too old years. So, yeah, I think, Tobey Maguire really hits it. And the thing, so here's the thing with Spider-Verse. And I guess this is going to be a spoiler if we ever do this movie, but it's not my favorite Spider-Man movie. I really enjoy it, but I have an affection for Peter Parker as Spider-Man more than Miles Morales, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like, I just don't want, I don't want a colored Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
No, absolutely not. No, I'm just saying, I'm just being
We
stupid.
need to erase this from the internet.
No, but I don't like Ben Reilly Spider-Man. I grew up with Peter Parker and Miles Morales. I think he's a really good Spider-Man, but he's just not the one I grew up with, so I just don't have that emotional attachment.
No, I'm totally with you on that, but that's why like I'm a bit torn on, just where to fall on that, because while the Hollands are really good and that's the Spider-Man, the Peter Parker Spider-Man that I've, grown up with and come to know and love, I feel like all around the Spider-Verse is a better movie. But it focuses more on a different Spider-Man. So I was just like, I wish like those people would do a just Peter Parker Spider-Man as well, because I think they nail it.
It's funny because I grew up only with the characteristics of, like, all I really knew of Spider-Man was what's kind of discussed in Into the Spider-Verse's like origin montages, just those like, all right, I lost the person I cared about, I got bit by the spider, yada yada. And so for me, the movie was perfect with that, because it's just like showing how that could happen with a bunch of different ways. I thought was really cool. And like all I knew of Peter Parker was those things in that montage happened to him. Yeah. So it worked really well with me. But I could see how if you like grew up with, Peter Parker being so much more of an important part of the Spider-Man story. I can see why that's not,
Peter Parker
that would not appeal to you.
Like if you think about it, like he's the one out of all the Marvel superheroes that's like, he's just a normal kid. Like he's got these powers and he's just trying to do the best that he can with them. He's not like Captain America where he's like, oh, he's the symbol of a, like America's whatever. And he's not Iron Man where he's got all this money. He's just this kid from the Bronx who's like trying to do the best he can. And I really appreciated that. And I think a lot of people actually really connected to that. And like, I think Miles Morales is awesome. Like, I really enjoy that. But at the same time, I'm like, well, you've got two Spider-Mans at the same time. And you feel like if I have to choose between one, I'm going to choose the one that I know.
I'm going to take fat washed up Peter Parker.
Well, yes, I'll take fat washed up.
That's my thing. One of the big differences is, again, with the Holland being the second best probably, is it is kind of tied into the MCU, which is not a bad thing, but it does kind of, it gives a little more weight on it where, you almost feel like you need to watch all the movies or whatever. Yeah. Like, so it's not quite a standalone thing, whereas Into Spider-Verse is.
I would like to see Miles Morales brought into the MCU, but at the same time, I'm like, let Tom Holland have like some time.
Well, yeah, I'm not even getting into that. Let's not even get into that. But as far as the Miles Morales within the Spider-Verse and everything, like, I feel like both those both the fat washed up Peter Parker that's in it and Miles Morales, while they are not the Peter Parker Spider-Man that I've come to know and love and want to see more of, they both seem to represent those characters and just in general Spider-Man way better than I think any other movie has. And
they do a really good job.
The story, especially with the villain and what he's doing and why and everything, is way better than like everything else.
But I will say at the same time, like Into the Spider-Verse, there are times where there's just too much going on, where it's like it's hard to kind of focus on what's happening.
It does get way down a little in the you're having to deal with all the Spider-Men from all the different Spider.
And I'm just like, dude, people, I guess. Yeah, pump the brakes a little bit. I need a minute to process all this.
But you want a minute? You get Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, exactly.
But while I agree with you on that, I still feel like they do that better than most other properties have, and it's it's an awesome movie. So
anyway,
I think
we're talking about Spider-Man 2.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, I think ultimately, I believe that will lead us all to just recommend Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or I guess enough of us kind of recommended this.
Yeah, well, it was 2 light recommends and a recommend. Like, I think that's a pass.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how Brian feels about it.
But still, I think no one here is going to say, don't watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So I'm going to put that put out there too.
Yeah, that's fine. So that's pretty much it for Spider-Man 2. Now, Brian wasn't here this week. It was his turn to roll the D20 of Fate, which he did, and gave me the number that he rolled, which is the number 5. So I'm going to go ahead and put our list into the random.org's list randomizer and see what comes up for number 5.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
No whammies.
Well, we got 1985's Lady Hawk.
Oh,
in
Alfred
early-
Molina's back.
Oh.
Is Alfred Molina?
Yeah, he is. He's in it.
Wow. And Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
And he brought his goddamn synthesizers. I can't wait for the soundtrack for this film.
Okay, so yeah, 1985's Lady Hawk is our next film.
Fucking jazzed.
Wowza. Wowza. All right, there's a lot of garbage on this list this time. All right, well, that's cool. So I guess with that said, guys, we want to thank you for listening to this long episode about Spider-Man 2. If you enjoyed what you heard, please check out our episode archives at www.4ampodcast.podbean.com. You can support us by picking up some merch at teespring.com/4ampodcast. You can, of course, support us as well and get access to patrons-only content at patreon.com/4ampodcast. We do really appreciate our patrons. You guys are the best. You can contact us if you have any questions or comments at the4ampodcast@gmail.com. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at, I think it's just 4am podcast. It really doesn't, whatever. So that's it for this. Joe's got a weird looking porcupine monster. Is that a dog toy or something?
Yeah.
All right.
It
cool.
is me now.
All right, Joe is now a big blue, green porcupine. Not a blue hedgehog. That would be, legal issues. But there you go. Guys, I want to thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. Again, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/4ampodcast and all that good stuff. Anything else, gentlemen?
Get vaccinated, people.
Always build a containment vessel around your fusion reactors.
Yeah, also that.
And if you have anything that's going to keep you from going insane, put it in something safer than a small glass vial.
There you go.
And if the train's out of control, just pull the handle. Just
pull
pull the handle.
pull the handle.
That's
Or
life
separate the
advice.
cars. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Adios.
Good night, everybody.